Warning. Missing audio detected. Compensating with vinyl crack noises. Warning. Conversational gaps detected. Finding suitable replacement audio sample. Disavowment detected. Early portion of discussion of Clearsighted document. Mean-spirited. Warning. Improper pronoun use detected. Podcast audio unsuitable. Transferring to Pocket Universe B. Warning. You are now leaving Pocket Universe A. Now entering Pocket Universe B.
Alright, I'm not going to question this. This is a show about neurotyping, about the workings of our psychology, a show about what it fundamentally means to be human. Our little podcast has grown, matured a lot over the past few millennia. We have been doing it like an ancient houseplant that is diligently watered, frequently spoken to for 3 consecutive hours, though we keep promising it will be less next time, and at the end of the day uploaded to YouTube to the delight of an adoring public. I hope it has and will age in the manner that is customary of people, repeating old mistakes again and again, but at rapidly escalating scale. Welcome to the Neurotypeline.
Beautiful. Oh, this is going to be a fun one, I can already tell.
Excellent.
Yeah, with me is Urcoy.
Hey, I'm here. I'm Urcoy. You know me by now.
I'm fast-talking craftsman and indestructible super god, the greatest living person, and leftist Jordan Peterson, Tarbuck Transom.
Why artist? Wherefore based? I'm Oro, and though one should loathe to be a garden variety podcaster, no one has garden these days, so fuck it.
Yeah, I guess me then.
Yes, the reigning champion has returned. Welcome back, Tolkien.
Yeah, this is Tolji, your favorite non-podcaster. I'm back.
The prodigal son.
Prodigal.
We have 2 guests today. Welcome them warmly.
Or coldly. It's up to you.
They are Canvas.
Audio Jungle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Who are you, and what is your neurotype?
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
We haven't even done extended shot typing yet. Yeah, this...
Trapaholics mixtapes. Real trap shit. Trapaholics mixtapes. Real trap shit.
How's it going? With us is Gentle Anachronist again.
Yes, I am Gentle Anachronist, airhead fascinator, class-specting pseudo-expert, hater of Joseph Campbell, as you know.
Audio Jungle.
I'm sure you've realized this episode is an unmitigated disaster already, so...
Yeah, this is Disavow 2.
Audio Jungle.
Man, we hit the ground burning.
This is a fucking bad idea.
XC. Neurionics.
Yeah. You know this one, right?
Yeah. All right. So the Neurionics thinking zones theory that is this Google Doc right here.
Yes.
Axie essentially goes, okay, fuck axes. We have these quadrants. People have them like in the quadrants. People seem to place themselves in one of them more likely than just putting a position on the axes. So why not use them as the new determining factor? So you pick your main zone, your main quadrant, and then you pick the quadrant within the quadrant. The quadrants being compute, abstract, instinct, order, and you take a combination of them. First your main, then your second, and you have a 2-letter combination, and that's easy. Everyone gets it. It's a pretty cool system. It's probably pretty good, yeah.
Right.
Audio Jungle.
The thing is, it's not even like aligned properly, the other lines.
Yeah, these are like the default word colors, I'm pretty sure. This is...
This is exactly what I was thinking right here. It looks like a jester's
Can
costume.
you see it? You can't just open a document.
No, it's not vibrant enough for that. I hate how muted the colors are.
Yeah.
That's also what I disliked about our old logo. That's why it's updated. Welcome to Neurotyping Season 2. Now looking better.
And shorter.
Audio Jungle.
No.
It's the first episode in which we acknowledge that it's Season 2. Technically, last episode already had the new design. Welcome to the meta premiere. Because we all know the first episode of the series is the first episode that acknowledges that it's the first episode.
Audio jungle.
A proud Rick and Morty tradition.
Did they do that? Oh, now I regret making that joke. Oh dear.
They did. They did something like that. They always acknowledge when it was the last episode.
I wish they'd kept it at that.
Mixtapes.
They should have just immediately acknowledged that's the last episode and then stopped.
There's no way that Morty was in a time stop and didn't rape somebody.
Disavow. Okay, let's get this.
Yeah, that's why we say disavow before every episode.
Audio jungle.
Because it's a time
because
stop.
he's a selfish, horny teenage boy in a world with no consequences because time has literally stopped. He can touch boobs, he can come in snatches. Everything is fair game.
Audio jungle.
I'm telling you that he did, whether or not the canon chooses to acknowledge it on screen.
Trapaholics mixtapes. Real trap shit.
Welcome to the Neurotypeline. Morty is a rapist.
There is a difference
Okay.
here with this one from the README Kiproi quadrant and then further down quadrant thing, where this is instead
Yeah, for one
of-
thing, it's a diamond theory. Like the corners
Yeah,
are
it's-
now the sides.
It's our second 45-degree chart flip.
Yeah, here I made a fixed version.
Yeah.
If that one was confusing.
Oh, I see. So these so the corners are actually like an expansion from the original chart. Is that what I'm?
No, it's just turned weird and turned into diamonds.
I took it to mean
No.
I took it to mean that each quadrant is divided diagonally, but it's divided diagonally on a weird angle that only turns into a straight sensible angle if you skew the chart out into
Yeah,
a
no,
diamond
the
from a square.
quadrants are the big triangles that connect in the middle. So
Audio jungle.
in the top you have the compute triangle comprised of all the ones that start
I
with C and so on.
I'm just not seeing exactly how this maps onto the regular chart, so I can't place myself.
It doesn't exactly because there's another.
You
thing
rotate it by 45 degrees.
And then
Yeah.
So you have a diamond and then you squish it at the sides.
flay it out.
Okay, so CC is in the top left and AA is in the top right.
Yeah,
That's what
so
you're supposed to
the
do.
corners of this chart are the fascinator analyst border and the aesthetician impressionist border, contemplative technician border, and clearsighted double-headed border.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Which means that this plays into my theory from episodes and episodes ago, that someone who is right in the middle of fascinator analyst would be more lateral than a new type or a human calculator, and so on. That if you're in the middle of one axis, you get more leeway in the other axes.
Audio jungle.
If you want to be the most lateral person on the planet, you have to be in the middle lexicality and impressionism-wise. Or if you want to be the most impressionistic person alive, you have to be sort of in the middle laterality, linearity-wise.
That somehow makes sense.
I want it to be a circle.
Yeah, you collapse the other axis when you go really hard on one. If that makes sense. It becomes a black hole.
Audio jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't you tell me fascinator analysts are the most powerful characters ever?
No, laterality does not equal good.
Trapaholics mixtapes. Real trap shit. Trapaholics mixtapes.
I think that guy's a contemplative.
Yes.
I don't get the other way.
Audio jungle.
He's like a normal dude. Pretty much like a normal dude, but he's a little out of touch or a little estranged.
Yeah, his mode seems very linear. He's fuck, can't do this. Guess the next step is crime. It's very matter of fact.
He's also extremely.
Trapaholics mixtapes. Real trap shit. This is a fucking bad idea.
No, it kind of is that, but Jekyll had the transformation is caused by a substance that he produces. He's also a chemist, but the only difference is that Walter White didn't take the substance, he just produced it.
Audio jungle.
It's very lateral.
Audio jungle.
Whether you think he's a fanalist or a contemplative comes from whether or not you look up to Walter White.
Audio jungle.
Well, I don't look up to him either.
I've watched one and a half maybe seasons of that show, and I have not given a shit since.
Also, I just want to give it back to the just momentary tangent back to the post, but I want to give a shout out to Urcoy's like severely deformed square-ish version of this chart.
I reshaped it back to the normal chart.
Audio jungle.
It does.
Hold on, I got names too.
It makes just as much sense.
God.
What the
Human
fuck?
pewter.
4 little squids in the corners.
Tixie test. Co-tempo.
Audio jungle.
This is what I do. Another thing.
Quickly
I
wilting.
didn't, get to this. But here you just kind of go to a quadrant. That's your primary zone, and then the performing zone. That's what. That's the subquadrant. So here, that'd be denoted with a dash afterward. So mine is
that's
probably
sort of what you apply to your primary function.
Yeah, and it looks interesting on the chart too because you'll see all the ones that lean, like order, for example. They're all the blue ones. They kind of lean to the left. And then, same with like the purple and the yellow and green ones. So it's kind of a nice visual. And I kind of like this too because it points to different approaches you can have depending on, like, regardless of your neurotype.
Right, yeah. Actually, at least at the start, made a point of saying that this does not necessarily map onto your neurotype. It's very heavily inspired, draws on a lot of the same function. It's not the same thing as neurotyping necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it's intended, but if it's one thing we've learned on this show, it's that all 2-axis systems are the same.
There are no axes here. This is purely zones. These are disjunct.
All I know is I just don't understand this chart at all. I'm trying, but
we all, except for Tolgi, are in this abstract triangle. So AO, AC, AA, or AI. For me, it would be AI, which is applying instinct to abstraction.
An AI, bro.
So that is the instinct corner of the abstract quadrant. And same thing for all of them.
So which ones are...
It's just a 45-degree chart flip.
Well, I don't even think that, though, because, like, I think you can take any of the 4 abstract types could be, from there, could be compute or order or abstract or instinct. Because I think the secondary, the performing type on here is supposed to be just the thing that you do to it.
This is how I was reading it initially. This just like... It's just a 45-degree flip.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The performing isn't exactly like, oh, this is your subtype in that thing. It's really what function are you applying to your primary function. And the quadrants should vaguely map onto your primary function, hopefully.
It seems like it's trying to get mostly at that thing that we were discussing in the previous episode of your first thing is the thing that you do, and the second thing is the thing that you do it
other way around,
something
but
like that, or that same thing
like
but backwards. That. Yeah, your first thing on here is your domain, and it's what you do the thing to. And the second
that makes
is how
sense.
you relate to it, which is
good thing I don't need to know about the row, like the order, because I'm like CC, like this.
Yeah, double computer.
Is the crowd
Candace,
control?
are you a double A battery or an AI?
Audio jungle.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand the difference between AC and AO.
Right. I'm probably AO
But-
because, like, the thing that I try to do is consolidate into something very digestible. Like, that's why I'd say short things, whereas EGAG would be, like, another AC.
Should we maybe read the zone descriptions? Would that be
so.
helpful?
Audio jungle.
You don't have to do it.
Well, isn't it unfinished?
Audio jungle. Audio jungle.
Oh my god.
Should have been the one to fill your talk so with light.
All right, so you brought up the possibility of reading the zone descriptions, which I don't think is going to happen. I want to highlight that one of the descriptions is like lateral means complex, and I'm like, I hate that we keep running into this idea over and over again. And they acknowledge in the document that like lateral means complex and linear means simple is like fucking tiring, and it's terrible. But that made me think, hey, looking at this chart, there are low functioning linear people who can't order their thoughts. Like the description goes on about how they're being linear means you can order your thoughts. There's low functioning linear people who cannot order their thoughts. They're just drug along with it. They cannot steer their train of thought.
If we jump ahead to a later post which compares modes of thinking to sort of vessels and the fluids therein, a linear person might only have one pretty simple vessel, one glass. That doesn't mean they can drink from it.
Audio jungle.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's the glasses, dude.
where did the like lateral is details, linear is big picture thing come from?
Let me think. If I'm thinking toward probably the original video somehow,
Yeah, I think
the
so.
way it got distilled at least.
Yeah, because I've encountered that in a couple of different places, and I never got
it's
that
mostly-
impression.
It's mostly how Beatrice described like the shonen types. Well, for lateral, it's very obvious that she described it as essentially just complex thinking because she thinks it's cool. But for shonen heroes and other people, mainly impressionist linear types, she was like, yep, they just look at what's going on, know what's needed to do, and if they're clever, they'll do the right thing because they get it. They get it. I'm pretty sure that's how she explained Donald fucking Trump.
Audio jungle.
Oh yeah, it is.
Audio jungle.
I mean, the thing is, I do like exactly the same thing. I can't pass a sentence. But that's like invariant of what I do.
Trapaholics mixtape.
The thing is, when you're like a high function human calculator, you actually are like quite happy.
Audio jungle.
You're shit.
Real trap shit.
Impossible.
Audio jungle.
No, that was a spiralizing laugh if I ever heard one.
Yep.
Trapaholics mixtapes.
Yeah, we hope so, but I think he can't like speak, you know.
He'll just type the whole time.
All right, so I got some other notes that I want to get through. Like, people, like, just in the discussion of the, like, computation access. Like, it's a good shorthand because that's what it actually means, but people do not fucking understand what computers are or how they work. Like, anybody notice that other than me? Like,
Yeah.
like that, none of the descriptions match at all what is going on under the hood in your computer whenever it does anything. like computers are super explicit and they can only do what you tell them to do, but they can also kind of only do one thing at once without specialized invented hardware. People are versatile. You can make a person do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of multi-core computers.
Yeah.
that can do.
Yeah,
multiple things at
multi-threaded
once.
even. You can even have one core but multiple threads.
Yeah.
All those threads.
If you run, like, if you were to make a computer into a moe person, like a real life person, they would be, and you preserved their computerness, they would be the most linear person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audio jungle.
You remember.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Audio jungle.
It's a work in progress.
Audio jungle.
Honestly, I think in that way, computers are quite lateral, because lateral people, like computers, crash when I try to give them instructions.
I think people are. I would say that people are. They're neural net quantum. They're quantum computer neural nets.
No.
At least that's the
I mean,
closest.
the neural net is the best representation of what I think of the top left.
Yeah.
Which is like something networks. I only vaguely understand AI and like convolutional neural networks and other stuff like that, but it seems like the multiple layers of data chew is a good metaphor for how I vaguely conceive people in that quadrant.
Okay, thanks.
Quadrant theory has really like totally subsumed the way that I think about neurotyping.
Yeah, quadrant
Like,
theory is really good.
Yeah.
There is no, like, it's pushed out most of my other ideas and
Right.
replaced.
Well,
by-
because there's going to be a difference whenever you cross over the threshold of one of the axes. You're basically like that changes your entire like mode of functioning, because you're kind of operating from one context with hints of another. I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought, but
Yeah.
basically, yeah. Like
Yeah, I
you
got
have
you.
to be.
I think it was very clear.
You can't really be on the line. You have to be over the line on some
Mhm.
level.
Yeah.
You can straddle the line, but you can't really be on the line. So, like, it does make sense. Like, I think the quadrants thing works. Like, you kind of have to be in one of the zones.
Yeah. And to resurrect my old pet theory, if you turn your eyes to the instinct paragraph in here, it basically gets at the idea that the linear sides are more close to each other, which is, as you'll recall, Tarbuck's favorite trapezoid theory. Yeah. It's the specter that never dies.
Also, in case you're wondering why this thing is called Neurionics, there's a thing called Socionics. This has nothing to do with it. Actually just thought the name was cool and wanted to make an equivalent.
Okay.
He wanted to make his own system and give it a name.
And it kind of worked.
Yeah. There's no similarity to Socionics.
Real crap shit. This is a fucking bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, calling that useless bullshit seems like just a misunderstanding of what makes stories good.
Yeah.
Audio jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, but I think that a human calculator who's a good writer would willingly and knowingly incorporate that stuff, because they still know what's good.
Audio jungle.
Yeah.
No, I mean to do it well.
Audio jungle.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a good writer,
Me neither.
so I'm not eligible for the experiment.
Audio jungle.
We're doing this in real life.
Audio jungle.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm supervising.
Even more.
Yeah, we're just gonna do a Les Miserables webcomic where all the characters are representations of the neurotypes.
Yeah, no.
It's gonna have flash games.
Oh my god.
You'll have to get Flash working again
Yeah.
on your computer somehow.
My call it mind stuck.
Real trap shit.
Mine's stuck. Mine's stuck.
Chris Angel mind stuck.
I want to highlight this little passage underneath the clown chart. All people are capable of thinking. False. Differences in people don't come from what we can do. They come from what we do first and what we do often. And something about that just gives me like Peterson vibes. Like
Yeah.
you are what you do often.
Yeah.
Comes to my head, which is why I threw the leftist Jordan Peterson in my list of titles this time.
Oh, I thought the L stands for lobster. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, also, even though it is often somewhat misguided, Peterson is a big proponent of the idea that you can literally do anything. Just do it. which doesn't always apply.
Yeah.
Sometimes your environment
He doesn't necessarily
prohibits you.
recognize the
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Yeah, but
road,
it's still a
internal
good
roadblocks.
mindset to have.
Yeah.
Telling other people that they should be able to do it is harmful, but thinking that way of yourself is pretty good.
Well, in real life, Peterson is a grifter. And,
Yeah.
And he only actually believes maybe about a quarter of what he really says.
Yeah,
So
but
like real Jordan Peterson is not even who we're talking about.
Yeah.
that's true for everyone.
I believe everything I've ever said.
Wow.
I don't think that's true of anyone.
Audio jungle.
That's
I'm currently believing it. The proof is in this pudding. Putting my dick.
Audio jungle. Trapaholics mixtapes. Real trap shit.
Oh my god, no.
I mean, it would be a cinematic masterpiece.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Real trap shit.
Yeah.
This is a fucking bad idea.
We're gonna get a Nobel fucking prize.
Audio jungle.
Yeah, it's
Trapaholics mixtape.
it's very brave, it's nuanced, there's clearly artistic vision there, and honestly, we should get more Nobel Prize than just peace. I think all of them would be perfectly
The
justified.
Nobel War Prize.
Here it comes.
Nobel Prize for
episode
literally inventing
tradition.
dynamite, because that's the kind of movie it's gonna be. Let's be honest.
Audio jungle.
Alright.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Audio jungle.
You have more notes.
I think that was all.
I already beat you to that.
I didn't
on
even
one episode,
write
so-
anything. Like, actually,
Audio jungle.
Yeah, I just wrote here. I didn't have much to say on this. I like it. It's pretty good.
yeah, actually,
For the
there's
most part.
one little thing to say. I have things this is complete WIP, like complete work in progress. They actually didn't even mention OC. Like it didn't like even mention like contemplate.
Audio jungle.
Yeah, like half of
Yeah.
them aren't mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like he got about a third of the way into it and then quit.
Yeah, I mean, it looked finished at some point. Then he decided to add stuff, and then he didn't finish the stuff he added.
yeah. Actually, that's kind of a tangent. Yeah,
Audio jungle.
I don't think you can say that.
Audio jungle.
You never post though.
I'm glad that you like Homestuck. I'm getting Homestuck vibes.
He's trying to compete with Hussey, so he can't read Homestuck.
Yeah.
Audio jungle. Audio jungle.
Well, that's the same.
Yeah. Time cake. Spin.
Oh boy.
Speed.
Speed. Okay.
Audio jungle.
All right. First of all, we have the spinal-like flow through the chart. We all remember. Fuck. What's the post called? Dendritic emergence.
Yeah.
Dendritic emergence.
I don't remember what it's called, but I
Yeah.
know exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's dendritic emergence, the little double circle through the chart, sort of overlapping a human calculator.
Yeah.
Then he extrapolates from that a 3D, 4D shape, but with color, which would represent that. How do I explain this in words for people who don't know a lot about topology?
This is just say this is just a complex square root.
I said for people who don't. How do I explain this forward? And for people who can't do anything with that description. Yes.
Well, what are you trying to explain exactly?
Okay. It's a complex square root graph.
Just look it up.
Fine.
It's
Well,
easy.
I'm trying to understand. Okay, so we're talking about the flow.
Yeah,
It's-
the graph above that.
Yeah, the one that I think there's this one that it kind of looks like if you took a piece of paper and sort of twisted it into a sort of spiral shape
Yeah.
that intersected with itself.
That's a square root.
And the line that is drawn, the two circles of sorts, actually go across the two different pieces of paper, so they don't really overlap technically. Something like that.
Yeah, like Again, this is technically a 4-dimensional shape, but he can't draw a 4-dimensional shape, so he just has color as the 4th dimension. And because things only intersecting means that they have the same value in all dimensions, and since the color value is different, in 4 dimensions this would be another spatial value. They don't actually intersect, but this can't be shown in 3 dimensions, which you have to do for this sort of depiction.
Okay.
It looks like a clipping error, like if you were to take a 3D model and like fold it so that it goes through itself in a funny way.
Yeah, you just take the square and then twist it around a couple times through itself.
I like what you just said in the chat. You take the chart and twist the nipple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The neurochart titty twister.
Yes.
So I feel like the entire right half of this post, like everything from like the little X shape at the top there, everything from that to the right of that is just like developer notes for a future time cake post that were not done cooking. This is the chocolate lava cake version of a time cake post because half of it isn't cooked.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them feel very explicit, like references to Dendritic Emergence, like putting the Tree of Life there again.
Yeah, but this one feels like a reference to a post that hasn't happened yet. It's from the future.
Yeah, a lot of it does. Especially the Enneagram stuff just isn't completely fleshed out.
What is the core, like, this whole gap thing in the middle as a result of these 3 triangles being rotated and how that maps onto like a flower of life pattern that turns into the tree of life because he's really into sacred geometry and gematria and stuff like that. And he's like, what is the corresponding gap that this produces in neurotype space? The previous analysis would imply that it is the disjunction at the real number line responsible for a double rotation cycle. That is fucking nonsense.
Audio jungle.
I have that effect on people.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that I have the answer for him. Like that pivot point, that gap there is trying to deal with the singularity at when you immerse a 4-dimensional manifold into 3-dimensional space. Yeah, I know the words. Yeah. If you look at the little brick on the corner that has the piece of paper folded through it, it's that gap there is the little hole that is formed by the little corner in the middle. Like you can't, it doesn't have like concrete directionality. It's like a crease, but a point, you know? That's what the hole is.
You mean this is a discontinuity, I think.
Yeah.
Audio jungle.
Yeah.
The whole, isn't this just more proof for the whole quadrant theory that you can't be in the middle? You can't be in the exact middle. So everything sort of circles around. So everything is circles because you can't be in the exact middle.
Centrism isn't just bad, it's ontologically impossible.
Episode title. Episode title.
Ontologically impossible.
Yes.
That's great.
It's ornithologically impossible. It's impossible to the realm of birds.
Yes.
Centrism isn't even for the birds.
All right, I just want to highlight the little diagram down in the bottom right, where the 4 elements are heaven, earth, space, and time, and heaven gives you breath, and earth gives you flesh, and trees give you bones, and cycles give you blood for some reason, and blood is time.
You sound like you've never been in the forest in Lithuania.
I actually do jive with the like blood is time thing because they both flow.
Mm-hmm. And the function of blood is a cycle.
And they're both red.
Okay, if you look at that thing, that's literally just the class-specting wheel.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's a little duck in the corner, so.
Yep. It really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you get the middle piece out of the Enneagram thing in the middle there. Let's zoom in on that in the video. It's
369.
It's the XE
12,
thing.
15, 18.
And like
24, 30.
Yeah, so we should explain that because through this folded shape, you have the circular path through the chart overlaps at one point, then comes back around. So we have this double circle, which looks kind of like this one of the pangrams in the Enneagram thing.
Yeah. If it just goes to show you that if you look at if you shapes for long enough, eventually some of the shapes that you shape will cycle through all of the shapes that like crystal people recognize as well as normal shapes like triangles. Triangles are cool. This one's kind of made out of triangles, but they're all twisty.
Right, and the crystal people are known for their wisdom.
Audio jungle.
Tarbuck is just suffering.
Nobody give this guy a copy of like Ars Geisha.
Audio jungle.
Like he'll get lost in Hermeticism forever. This post is a neurotherapy photocopy of a photocopy. It's that thing that you get when you like if you do too much of a psychedelic and it gives you a feeling of profoundness, but you don't actually have anything. Nothing actually comes from it because you overdid it. You shot past, and now you're in the vapor space. The singularity, like gazing into the singularity in the middle of this folded shape, that is your navel. You're navel gazing right now.
Trapaholic.
But God's everywhere.
Real.
So, if we can find this 2-rotation cycle, then Timecake wonders if the 3-point cycle is also contained within the graph. And I would venture yes, because Timecake talks about this square root, this complex square root graph, implying a squaring, and therefore, like,
Crap shit.
welcome to your favorite podcast about coming in God's eye. Now let me talk about neurotype.
This is a fucking bad idea.
I can tell. This is why I'm a teetotaler, all right?
Audio jungle.
A teetotaler is somebody who doesn't want to be intoxicated
Me?
and is like against the concept of intoxication.
Horrifying.
I think I am kind of that.
Audio jungle.
I don't think that's the same thing. I think there's like vastly different things.
All right. Are we done with this time cake post?
No, I wanted to make a point the entire time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So,
Here's your time batter post. What do you got for us on this time batter post?
right. The squaring, the square root implies a squaring, so two charts superimposed onto each other. And he says that this might be some kind of social aspect to it, some sort of relation between two versions of the neurotyping chart or two intersecting points.
It's that thing from last episode, but like
Yep.
Yeah,
but
kind of.
What it was actually trying to get at but failed to.
Yeah, but I want to give this is very clearly a geometry post, so I want to give a geometric explanation. Because the thing is, what we have for the double loop is essentially here in topology you can do a thing called identification, where you say, okay, these points are the same, fuck it. And we don't do this here. This is asymmetric and unidentified. That's why we have this intersection that doesn't actually intersect. And through that forms the double loop, because you have to go around twice until it reconnects again. What we can do is we can identify the crease and have sort of a cosine, a symmetric version of the whole thing that gives us just two circles intertwined. Two intertwined circles. And we then superimpose and identify those two with each other. Not identify, we map those two onto each other. And then we get in one the 3-point and in one the 6-point. We also solve the squaring thing, and it's all very pretty.
Mixtape.
I never
We never said that.
Audio jungle.
Yeah, so we have some sort of complex hypercube in C4. Also, if we have this path around looping, and we have one progressive subsystem, and through the true intertwining circle, we have sort of pendulum subsystem where you reach the crease and go back the other way, and again and again and again. So I don't know, accelerating and stabilizing functions, something. This seems like it would fit into that whole everything is geometry, so explaining society, all that jazz. Seems to fit well. Also, where is this 0 point discontinuity? Probably just barely outside the chart on the pure instinct corner. I want that to be in this void, in this outside that the flows go into that we discussed earlier. I want that to be some kind of nature essence that people can tap into but not embody. Like, you can't be the type where the 0 point discontinuity is, but you can glimpse at it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nature existence.
Having consciousness kind of necessarily locks you out of being able to be fully unconsciously intuitive. Like, you can be in that state for sure, but you can't do both at the same time.
Yeah, you can't be a person while getting it.
You can't be a person and a tree at the same time. Like, trees are not conscious by nature. That's their whole thing.
Audio jungle.
Okay, now I want to call your attention back to that belly button. Go ahead and put it on screen. Tell me that it doesn't look like it would be like a weird, like, fifth belly button that you get, like, in the crook of your arm.
What?
Like, look into the crook of your arm.
I don't. Okay, now my. Oh no.
Trapaholics.
Depends on how many.
Real trap shit.
Look, you get one each for every pipe that you were hooked up to when you were incubating. Like, I think this is common knowledge. I came out just, like, fucking covered in placentas. They were everywhere.
Wow.
They're kind of like stickers, like the teacher gives you one if you did get.
And you get a placenta, and you get a placenta. Just
Oh, I meant belly buttons, but yeah,
they were
also
everywhere.
placentas, I guess.
They were crawling up the walls, man.
Yeah, this is a whole different type of disavow.
Yeah, so much is about that.
Audio jungle.
Do we have to?
Audio jungle.
Amazing.
Do we have to age restrict this on YouTube?
Audio jungle.
The punchline is punching itself in the dick.
Real trap shit.
Good audio content.
Welcome to the Neuro Punchline, where we are the end of the, like, we are the butt of the joke that is this cosmic mockery.
Yeah.
You think that we're making fun of you, but actually it's happening to us.
Yeah.
Dogs, Mindspace visualization.
Yes.
Yeah, we've
Thank
kind
you.
of finished, right?
Something simple for once.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel about this post the way I feel like Tabak felt about the circle post. This, to me, is one of the most true neurotyping posts. It's utterly perfect. Everyone immediately gets it when they
Yes.
see it.
Fully agree.
It's fucking wonderful.
These are the kind that I love because they make sense just instantly.
I posted in the voice chat.
Yeah, I got you. There you go.
Okay, so thinking is fluid in containers. Laterality is how many and interconnected containers there are. Linearity is few and not connected containers like glasses. For highly lateral, they have some chemical setup with a lot of tubes connecting beakers and such. And lexicality is ice cubes. It's nice, solid, distinct units. The center of the chart is just water, and impressionism is boiling water. It's barely even holding together anymore, very hard to disentangle, high energy, splashing about, partially in the air already. Very much not individual and disconnected solid blocks.
So yeah, so linearity is like very closed off. Oh, You know what? Just edit that out because that was a completely botched attempt at an explanation.
We won't.
Okay. Yeah. I do like the so the whole ice cube to steam chart is basically about how segmented are your ideas versus like with the on the full impressionist side, everything is kind of intermingled to an inseparable degree, whereas the ice cubes are discrete pieces that can kind of be separated out easily. And then the top of the chart is all about like how interconnected are the containers, where linear is not very connected and lateral is very connected.
Like, Roman is a bucket of boiling water.
I kind of like this idea too of maybe it's just the image that they used here, but the idea of linear being like pre-prepared things, like these are nice drinks and things.
Yeah.
And then the lateral is like all the distilled pieces.
It's the distillery.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a bunch of...
like individual elements and things all separated but connected.
Human calculator is like a series of catapults that throws ice cubes between each other.
New type is like a bunch of pipes that sort of pipe steam around.
Steam engine.
New type is a war fought entirely through water pistols that spray boiling brine.
It's the squirt gun wars.
It's just one big steam cloud monster.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. Yeah. My creativity is like offline right now.
It's the planet Jupiter.
Yeah.
Audio jungle.
No, bookkeeper is just a guy frozen in a glacier because it's antiquated.
Yeah. Boy, am I glad that he's frozen in there and that we're out here.
the ship, and then we're frozen.
And then we're in there, and I just remembered we're out here.
Oh yeah, nice ice pops.
Freezer pops.
Yes, there you go.
That connects to the pre-prepared drinks thing that I was talking about with linear.
Yeah.
That's the frozen person.
Let him finish.
And it's perfect because it's great for giving to autistic people.
Audio jungle.
Pure instinct. I feel like a pure instinct would be some kind of like, some kind of a weird big like brew, like that everybody drinks from. I don't know what
the communal coffee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Red Bull bowl.
The Red Bull.
I really like the idea of Roman running around with a big plastic bucket like the type you'd build sand castles with, just filled with boiling hot water and like taking sips from it. That mental image is very funny too.
I could imagine that.
So somehow this reminded me of a story from Africa of the spider Anansi convincing a crocodile that he was a crocodile. By the crocodile is like, well, if you're a real crocodile, then you can drink boiling water. And he's like, you know what? I will do you one better. You know that when anything gets let out, it gets like sets out in the sun, it gets hotter, right? And the crocodile's like, yeah. He's like, all right, so take some boiling water and then set it out in the sun for like 4 goddamn hours, and then I'll drink that. I will one up you to shit, motherfucker. And so he did that, and the crocodile was like, all right, that was even hotter than boiling water, so I guess you're a real crocodile. All right. Looks are deceiving, I guess. And he's like, yes they are. I am a crocodile.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
It is how that works. Yes.
That's
exactly.
That's pure instinct.
Okay.
By the way, he gives those names, like the glass is your mind space and the content is the idea.
Yeah.
I do like
yeah,
the sort of chemistry set thing for kind of like the fascinator analyst region, because that kind of relates to how I think in some degree, where it's kind of these semi separated out but constantly distilling and mixing.
Yeah.
Like massive network of like extremely convoluted materials.
Yeah. It really makes
dubious make.
This image really makes the interconnected versus disconnected dichotomy really super clear in a way, like, because that's one of the things that I try to push for when I talk about linear and lateralness right now, is that because it's it helps you get it more if you don't get it. Yeah, and there's also a nice parallel between the hot and cold thing that we've done in past charts, including in Oro's renaming of things.
Yeah, that's one of the things my notes say, that this explains everything and more, because one of the things it explains more is this explains the effect through which people associate Impressionism with this kind of hot-headedness. Why Beatrice had to disentangle temperament from the chart, and why I had this association of all the far right impressionistic types with fire and heat. This just captures this exactly, just through water.
After all the time cake fuckery, this is a breath of fresh water.
Ha ha.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, very fun.
Oh, I also really
I want you all to glass content type yourself.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
What I like about another thing I like about this in regards to the linear, I think it captures to some degree what is good about linearity, which is that the separated contents can be very distilled into a very specific function, so to speak. Like
Curated.
a really good drink is not diluted by being piped to several other things. You can't really drink from a chemistry set very easily.
Try, bitch.
Yeah.
You ain't trying hard enough.
I know, but it's not going to taste the same as a well-prepared, bartender-made drink.
It's easier to get things out of.
Yeah. It only serves a specific sort of. It's not as versatile, but it's also like easier to digest and more to the point. Like it gets.
So what they got to do is build up their catalog of drinks.
Yeah. Well, that's what lexicality is, right?
No, I meant that it was like knowledge. You have more drinks.
Knowledge.
From-
Okay. Yeah.
So if I were to drink content type myself, I would probably be Kif Kroker from Futurama's system of fluid-filled bladders instead of a skeleton that he has. That's me.
I see.
Because I looked at this and I was like, oh, I'm a fucking sock slut extractor. Wait, I'll post an image because probably not everyone knows what that is.
Thanks for the image.
Probably in part because the top thing is a chemistry setup. But a sock slut extractor is something that just boils a solvent, it goes into a container above, it's still boiling hot, dissolves the thing above, drips back down, is immediately vaporized again, and the extract accumulates in the bottom flask. And that's how ideas work.
I
Perfect.
see.
It's a few flasks that are somewhat interconnected, and it's hot as shit. Fits perfectly in all the ways that matter, which is to say
I
all of
see
them.
it and I have no idea how it's supposed to do anything.
There's an animation of it.
Yes.
I
Oh,
see.
the solvent
Yeah,
effect.
when you see an impressionistic person, I see it and don't understand how it's supposed to do anything.
I don't know. I can't think of like a good parallel to what my thoughts are like. I don't know enough about esoteric liquid devices.
Oh, I mean, I can just say it simply. Simply. This isn't gonna work. There's too much what is this? Crown Royale in my system.
Canvas is just hot cum.
No, I'm hot cum when I go pure instinct. No, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Fucking.
That tracks.
All right, let me try for a second.
Am I crest come then?
Freezing my cum before
Suffering.
it crystallizes. Challenge part 6. Somehow this German guy popped up into my fucking freezer. How you doing, Tolgi? Oh god, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, right, told you, we haven't had non-liquid systems yet. What's
Yeah.
your glass content type?
Must be invented.
Gotcha.
Yet to be released.
Yes.
I was just gonna say an isotope, right? Or like aerogel.
Aerogel. Is that cold? No, that's not cold,
it's not
right?
cold.
Some
But
of
it's
them
like
are
it's
cold.
air, but it's a solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
And
what it
there's-
is.
Yeah, but There's not really space on that. Oh, there's space. I guess. I guess that's
I
a
mean,
lot
there's
of
no
interconnected
glass.
spaces.
There's no
I
glass.
guess aerogel cow.
Okay, I figured
Hold
out what
on.
I am. I think I'm like basically just a series of like different what's the word, like gelatins sort of being mixed together.
You're like the gel packs.
I don't think I'm explaining this very well. I'm just explaining like
series
I'm
of
just picturing like some sort of slime.
See, I'm
How
imagining
about like a cup of queso?
What's that?
How about a cup of queso?
A cup of queso.
like queso dip.
I like that. All right. I was trying to explain my own, but I want to hear Oro's more.
Didn't I explain that?
Did you? I'm
Yeah.
I can't remember anything past like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, it's a flask. You heat it. The steam from it goes up to the side into another container. At the bottom of that is some shit you want to extract something from. Let's say tea leaves. Drops onto the tea leaves when it recondenses. Obviously dissolves stuff from that because it just recondensed. It's still super, super hot. Drops down back into the flask. Flask is still hot, condenser stuff, but the thing that boils off is obviously not the extract because water has a lower boiling point than the extract. Flows onto the tea leaves again, dissolves those, flows over back into the flask and continues that cycle for as long as you want until you extracted everything from it. And it's a very solvent saving method of extracting shit from shit. And ideas are the tea leaves in this metaphor, in this very convoluted chemistry metaphor.
Now I'm remembering. Okay, well, here's another gay metaphor. Fucking, okay, so imagine an atom bomb in a sense, right? As in like, but dumber, much dumber. Instead of on impact exploding like a smart person, gas leaks out. And this gas is like, very hot for one, and it smells like nothing. This gas will, if you are smelling it and you know the smell of ash, you'll probably pick up on what's about to happen next. A click afterwards and an explosion, right? Blah, 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 blah. The inside is more or less it lands and it's supposed to excrete gas. I don't know why or how. I don't care, to be honest. It just needs to be hot. And the actual explosion is more or less made up of like, not even like nuclear energy or fucking nuclear materials, more so just cum, blood, and a lot of fire.
You heard it here first, folks. Canvas thinks that excreting gas is hot.
Listen, if you fart in my face and I don't cum, you just didn't have a stanky enough ass. Sorry.
I hate this so much.
I hate this podcast.
That description, the description of that bomb just made me think, especially the final part was like, that just sounds like some sort of SCP universe weapon.
That was the joke. Thank you for catching it.
You know what? I'm a coffee maker.
There you go. There you go.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That fits perfectly.
Shout out to being coffee makers. Wait, are you a percolator or are you like a coffee maker? Like, what? Are you one of those like? Are you a percolator?
What?
Or as a
Do you not know what a percolator is?
Percolators suck.
No,
I can't explain percolators.
Is that a liquid joke?
It's like a heating element in the bottom of a thing, and you put your coffee beans in it. And basically,
Thank you.
It's a recipe for burning your. It's a device specifically made for burning your coffee. That's what it is.
It's terrible. Fuck
suck.
Percolators. But Koi being a percolator is hilarious. A uranium coffee. Do I need to say it 50 more times? Uranium coffee. Uranium coffee.
He's a coffee maker powered
uranium
by
coffee. Uranium
a tiny nuclear device.
There's just like
the uranium coffee chanting is like putting me in a fugue state.
Uranium coffee.
Fugue state team. Fugue state team. Fugue state team.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
There's too much chanting.
This is good audio content, right?
Uranium coffee.
Stop.
Uranium coffee. uranium coffee.
Seize.
Uranium coffee. Uranium coffee.
Please.
Uranium coffee.
Okay, I'm gonna be back in like 5 minutes.
Uranium coffee.
Yeah.
Uranium coffee.
Canvas, I'm gonna kick you.
Uranium coffee. Give me 4 more. I'm almost there. Uranium coffee. Uranium coffee. Uranium coffee. Uranium coffee. There. See? I was counting. I said 50 more. We're done.
I see.
Alright.
I'm playing bass and counting uranium coffee. I apologize for everyone that is in this podcast right now, especially Tarbuck, because he is putting up with all this. I'm so sorry. It's great though, isn't it?
I acknowledge but do not accept your apology.
I figured. Catch me when I'm not drunk.
The 2-star response is the rarest of responses. There's like outright rejection, where you're like, no, that is not a good reason to apologize.
Yeah.
And then there's another one where like, yes, you have apologized correctly when it's the time to do that. Like it's warranted, and also you did it. And then there's when somebody apologizes and they don't really have to, but you just kind of go with it. And then there's like the true neutral where you don't even clock that it happened. It's just like a pleasantry. The rarest one is like, I see that you've got a good reason to apologize, and I don't accept it. It's the 2-star rating.
See, that's
the
good.
rarest of all
I
ratings.
respect it. I respect it completely. Good shit. It only fuels my cum lust for you.
Corn dog.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I still haven't decided if this was a good idea.
This is a great idea. Allowing me to be a podcast host. I still think about
You're
this.
not a host, you're a guest.
I'm a host now. I'm not gonna show up. This is the greatest thing to happen to this podcast next to me continuing to take another shot of my bourbon. This isn't bourbon. This is
Oh no, this
rum.
problem is I'm almost sleeping, so I can't even respond.
I want an entire podcast of my out of context fucking rambles of me just saying random bullshit. Like, you ever think about how eels are like a really weird animal? Like, they're like snakes, but not as cool. Like, they're underwater and shit, and you can like eat them, but like they shock you.
Fucking mean?
Fuck eels. Fuck eels. Fuck all eels. Don't fuck an eel unless you want to put it in your ass as it's already dead so you can't get shocked. Except, yes, you still can get shocked by a fucking eel because their body defensively just attacks you for no reason. You see, like a jellyfish, like my boys, my true blue boys, like the boys in blue that I shout out to every night. No, not the fucking police. I'm talking about the Mountie Rangers. I don't know. I don't watch football. I don't know about the fucking Mounties. Fuck you. My boys in blue.
Ah, yes, eels instinctually attack you, unlike snakes.
Okay, snakes are hot though.
What?
Wait, dude, haven't you seen the eels that literally turn the water into like slime jelly stuff?
Wait, you're lying.
Hagfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real? That's a thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it turns into
Yeah,
like,
that's their
like,
defense mechanism.
Whoa.
It's like clear jelly.
Sorry, I'm aroused.
It's really cool.
Hold on. Stop talking.
One teaspoon of mucus from a hagfish can create up to 16 cubic gallons of, or like, yeah. Is it 16 or is it 60? I forget. One of the two. Gallons and gallons and gallons of slime. It's super concentrated stuff. It turns everything.
Gallons of goo.
Everything that is around. Like if you're in the water near a hagfish and it like gets spooked, everything turns to snot.
Dude, you have no idea how much mucus makes me aroused. Fuck.
I think I have some idea.
No, man. You don't know,
I think
bro.
everything, at this point, I think it's been established that everything has that effect on you.
Well, not everything.
Everything
Like,
so far.
Yeah, everything.
I'm trying to think. There's a list I wrote down, and there's like at least 10.
I don't think we need to know the list.
No, I need to tell the list now. Hold on.
No.
Okay, so
Well, the power of editing will make this irrelevant anyway.
by the power of editing,
No.
I'm going to have my own podcast of me talking about everything that I am not aroused by. Hi, welcome to the Canvas Corner. All right, let's
canvas can't coom corner.
Canvas can't coom corner. Yes, I need this. Hold on. Where's the list? Hold on.
So what post are we on?
I'm finding the list.
We had Bomy's Clearsighted.
Oh wait, never
document.
mind. This is funnier. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Here, let me.
I need to see this again so I can laugh.
There you go.
So, maybe Coy can clear this up because this document clearly has been updated a lot since I last saw it. Because there was some really cool and interesting stuff, and then there still is some of that. But also, a lot of it has been deleted, and a lot has been added that I find far more questionable.
I think this is a different document from the original one. We did mention that original one at some point. I don't know if the link for it is still up, but that one was more of a just straight writing down of thoughts. This one is more, I guess, indulgent.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly says
right
style over substance in it, and I think that captures it pretty well.
Which also is a good description of the post itself because it's covered in like little hearts and sparkles. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I open the post and I instantly see somebody who looks like Michelle.
Yeah, I like a lot of it, and then I got to the phrenology section and was deeply disturbed.
There's a phrenology section? Hold on, where
the
is
phrenology section. I missed that. Where
yeah,
is that?
there's one about the looks of... Wait, what's it called? Section 3, how to spot a potential CS. Section 2 of that, do neurotypes share a look? And it goes into the jaw shape of clear-sighted people.
It always comes back to skulls.
It does. Absence of sharp or rough angles / edges on the jawline, usually smooth and sloping curve. This literally sounds like something from a phrenology text.
What the fuck? Why? Why?
Fairly small, slightly upturned nose.
Oh my god.
Smooth slopes down without a hump or protrusion and comes upward at the end near the nostrils. This killed me when I read it.
My nigga, you read this shit and you wrote it, and I hope to God you read it again. But I'm going to assume you did it because you would have deleted it instantly afterwards. Why? What's wrong with you? Never mind. Never mind.
Let's
I'll
get
need
to
to
the
finish.
good parts first.
It should be said too, like that it has been acknowledged even in this thing, or to some degree at least. It should be obvious this is like for fun.
Yeah.
Like
I see. I can see that. It's just you need a better way of finding fun.
Right.
Here's my angle on Clearsighted. Here's my conception of it. Or
yeah. Still, I think this is just a thing one should tread carefully when in the proximity of.
I'm gonna puke. This is amazing. This is amazing that someone wrote this, like, completely wholeheartedly. Bomi, you need a hug. I'm not giving it to you.
They want an aesthetic they can melt into.
Ew.
In the way that they want to melt people who don't look like them in a gas chamber. I'm calling anybody who's in phrenology. You're like on dangerous ground.
That's not how gas chambers work, but yeah, sure.
Okay, so we've clearly established that the phrenology stuff is kind of cringe. What about the rest of the post?
All right, so it starts with one line that I like a lot about the difference between fashion designers and fashion stylists, which gives sort of a good and very empathetic, positive description of linear people and clear-sighteds particularly, which is that they are the fashion stylists. They don't make the things, they just put them together in the ways that fit well and aid in cohesion. That sort of fits in the way Beatrice described externalists also as building cohesion in a social paradigm, in a space, room brightness and all that. Mm-hmm. She later goes into classification by way of vibes and that sort of stuff, how to kind of handle linear somewhat impressionism.
Mm-hmm. And
it's nice. They're very good metaphors. Yeah, easy to digest. Nice.
Yeah. What I like I think it gets across what, in a linear way, what purple column kind of is about, which is sort of the categorization of inherently uncategorical things.
Yeah, right. You sort of have a progression from just the completely uncategorized to the categorization of by way of. She speaks of categorizing by way of the vibes things have,
exactly,
which is categorizing by the completely uncategorizable, and then you have kind of in the blue column categorizing by, I don't know, maybe relation or similarity or something like that, and then green column is categorization by set attributes or such.
Yeah, it's almost like it's finding a way to impart impressionistic knowledge in a way that is like easily digestible.
Yeah, and the clothes are such a good example for that, because it is essentially just matching by way of vibe.
And then there's the section of Clearsighted are kindergarten teachers.
Yes.
Where it's all about simplifying things down to a very easily digestible form.
The very first point is something that I try to do a lot on this show. The goal of the Clearsighted is to take complicated information and synthesize it down into something easy for a lot of people to understand, like what a kindergarten teacher does. Yes, that is the vibe that I go for. Everyone else is beneath me and a child, and I have to talk down to them without letting them know that I'm talking down to them.
Is that a Clearsighted thing, or is that a purple column thing?
That might be somewhat of a purple column thing. I think where it varies linear to lateral is how complicated do you let things be? Like, how much do you?
No, it's just how condescending you are about it.
Yep.
So I am less condescending than Tarbuk.
I think this whole post, because I'm skimming through, I'm gonna be real, I'm not gonna read this whole thing.
It's hella long.
Yeah, no, it's fairly long.
It is a lot.
13 fucking pages, fuck no.
But it looks nice.
It does look nice.
Yeah,
it
looks nice.
It's great. I
appreciate
well
that formatted. I do respect the way it's done.
If you want people to read a fucking document about neurotyping, of all things, you would make it look like this. But like in the same breath, I would say like, hold on, my music's too fucking loud. I've been trying to numb myself.
I feel like a great deal of it is just her personal aesthetics and that sort of stuff. But it's just so much text, and there's so many nice metaphors and things other people might relate to in there that I think it's super useful. And having this kind of document for all the types, even if there's a lot of personal bias brought into it, really didn't matter, because you'll get enough of a feel for the type of person just from reading it.
True.
I just wish the phrenology section wasn't in
I look at this and I think,
what the fuck is that phrenology
a lot of this is fairly useful for probably like if you're trying to think which like zone you're in, like, you know, red, blue. Right. I don't think specifically linear though, because I don't think a linear person would read all of this unless they first identified with like the earlier section. Like, if you don't identify with the fun Clearsighted basics, you're probably not going to read the rest of it, unless you're going to read like the Clearsighted part, which I don't know. I don't know Clearsighted's like that. I don't understand their type that much.
I mean, I see what you're getting at, but at the same time, I kind of feel like you might be treading a little close to linear people don't like complicated things.
I don't mean to.
Linear people don't like verbose
I don't mean to. I just don't. I don't feel, because from my experience and what I know about linears, I don't get it, to be honest. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Like linearity at all. It just does not compute with me at all. It does not make sense. How do you like, especially how it's explained, it's never made sense. Even when I watch like here and there, like Neurotypeline, they touch up linearity as like, this doesn't make sense. But like when I talk to Roman, sure, I get it. But like when I read this, it's like, I don't feel like a linear person would sit through all of this, cause like they got shit to do. You know, like I got shit to do, and I don't even got shit to do right now, and I don't want to read this.
Bomi sat through writing it, so
What is?
Yeah.
It's more term than reading.
I don't know.
it.
Maybe this is just a me thing. I'm gonna assume it's a me thing, and hope to God that Clearsighteds read this and probably like type themselves correctly. Because I'm tired of fucking the Clearsighted typing as the overseer.
Yeah, I think the ability to sit through reading things probably is not necessarily a linear versus lateral thing, so much as just.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think a Clearsighted would look through all of this and see like, this aesthetic match. Like, what if a Clearsighted has a different aesthetic from this and sees like the early post and be like, I don't like this.
I can
You know?
see like a goth.
Like I know. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to like.
I think that's accounted for because one of the subsections here is just Clearsighteds are shonen protagonists, that being the other type from her.
I didn't see that. That's funny as
cute
fuck.
girly
That's
type.
correct. That's completely correct.
Yeah, and obviously that's not the type of person this would appeal to. She's just saying, okay, I'm going to cater to my corner of Clearsighteds.
Oh, okay.
Someone else from that corner can do it for theirs.
I'm gonna have to read this then on my own time when I'm not dying.
So you noticed that because you got to that point in the document.
Yeah.
Unlike the lateral person, a checkmate lateral.
What can I say? I'm just vibing, bro.
I did the fucking notes like 2 hours ago. Thereabouts. Like, I was doing this at the 11th hour, so I was not going to read 2 documents that were more than 10 pages. One of them was fine. I didn't read the whole thing, but I did jump around, and I found a bunch of like nice stuff like that. The thing about kindergarten teachers was really nice. I like this like categorical exclusion of vampires from the Clearsighted. Like, blood is thicker than wine, and the Clearsighted response is, but wine is tastier than blood. Disagree. What if you're a vampire? You can be a Clearsighted vampire.
Yeah, and it ties like Enneagram subtypes into it for people who are familiar with that and whom that might help. It very much is the kindergarten teacher approach of just throwing a lot of explanations at the wall, seeing what sticks, trying to explain from all different angles.
Yeah, but also very, very well distilled ones.
Yeah, right.
Like, are
it's nicely
they're
formatted.
not so. Yeah, they are verbose, but they're not necessarily like. Again, they're well formatted within the structure of being a very verbose document. It is well formatted, which I appreciate a lot. Like, I think that's something that I desperately need more of in complicated material.
Yeah, it has like nice headers, like Clearsighteds are taxonomists. That's a subsection in which the classifying by vibes stuff is. Very
That's
nice.
cool.
Also, just some general things that I think might tie into laterality, like the way she talks about how fashion styling sort of is a form of an artist. You make a thing, and it should ideally almost disguise the person. It should be a piece of art that encompasses you, and the person who made should have nothing to do with it. Where Beatrice's approach always has been very much the lateral, the art is the artist, there literally is no border. So that feels like it might be a kind of lateral linear dichotomy.
Yeah, that kind of ties into the, to me, it almost ties into the drinks post in a way, or the liquid.
Yeah, kind of.
Where that is the strength of linearity, is being able to make these very condensed kind of well-packaged.
Yeah, and under that you say it is the cocktail versus the
exactly.
chemical experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I understand why. Yeah. Fuck. Now I need more linear. Now I know that I need more linearity of that kind.
Yeah.
To help me out, because I'm a like lateral overload.
You need to get a smoother brow ridge.
Nah, bro, we good. Just fucking complicate until the universe.
I fugued off there for a minute. I fugued off there for a minute. I feel like I missed something that would be very valuable to me, so I guess I'm gonna re-listen to this section of the show when I
fugue is now a
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
I was just comparing the aesthetics of this post to like the whole drinks post, where like the cocktails and the linear side of things, how like that's the strength of. Oh no, it was the thing that Aura was talking about with like the fashion. Anyway, it's already recorded.
Yeah, just listen to it back.
Yeah.
The listener got it.
Yes.
Do you think ContraPoints is like the lateral version of this?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. You're right. Like she does that very well in like a. I don't know if I don't know if it's like Overseer or Fascinator, but it definitely feels like a very well executed purple column approach to explaining things.
If you
Yeah,
if you
kind of,
like
because it.
ContraPoints' content, I would highly recommend that you watch some John Waters movies. Like, getting to know more of John Waters' work has really made ContraPoints make way more sense just, like, instantly. I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to get into. But
Anachronist. I don't know if that's what you meant by it, but yeah, to me that makes sense that here it's the outfit for its own sake, whereas for ContraPoints, where the outfits and such are elaborate, they always feel like they serve to visually draw out the component, the character, the part of herself she's trying to exaggerate for the sake of this particular. Yeah. Okay, then I got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's using categories to give shape to impressionist things.
Yeah, right.
Without necessarily categorizing them.
Yeah.
Just kind of giving them a form that is understandable.
Yeah, then in there are a poem she wrote in the playlist. It's just a lot of data points a person might use. It's a lot of effort, I'd imagine, to have written this.
Yeah.
I saw the link to the poem, but I didn't click on it.
Yeah. I am just like, whatever the contents, I am kind of just like, this is like this is the most like fully formed neurotyping thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and I love it.
As deeply opposed as I am to the phrenology section, the rest of it.
The contents, there are a couple of contents we can dispute, but like the form is great.
Yeah, again, a lot of it, I don't know if it's necessarily neurotype or just maybe her specific subtype or a aesthetic she's into. I don't know if all of it relates to neurotype, but that's the only thing that I just find viscerally disagreeable.
All right. Do we want to do the...
Yeah, let's stop talking about skulls.
Yes.
Let's stop talking about skulls.
Skulls.
Apotheosis collateral. Scouring this absolute hellscape for Neurotypeline content, as I am forced to do, I realized that apparently no one ever posted a heat map of how well they typically get along with other types, which is a shame. He is mine from a while ago. Excuse the heterodox color scale, blue means good. Followed by the chart you are seeing on screen.
Yeah.
Which is a heat map on the chart where the heat points indicate how well I get along with certain people typically.
And I assume it starts at 1 and goes down to 10, or is it the other way around?
10 is good.
10 is best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 10 is
gotcha.
best.
Wow, I'm only a 4. I feel disappointed. But it's fine.
I mean, my best friend is Human Calculator Analyst Border, and Human Calculator is 3. This isn't individuals, this is average.
Yeah. I hope that just implies that I am a non-average fascinator. Anyway, I'm getting off.
Yeah, I like it. Don't worry.
I'm making this all
very
about
difficult for me to like.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is like very hard to do for me because I feel like the map would change every few months or so. I made her. This is my most recent one. But
I still pretty much agree with this.
It's a fun thing.
That the way that you have yours organized, Urcoy, looks a lot more sensible to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just the zoom, actually, and the fact that the numbers get in the way of me, like, reading the chart.
Doesn't it look like a face or something?
It does. It's like a paint by numbers Picasso, Urcoy's chart.
Oh yeah, I also just bucket tooled a neuro chat.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that you say you like a good externalist. I feel like I am very annoyed by externalists a lot of the time. Or it can be that sometimes the approach is, like to humor in particular, the approach is very annoying to me.
Agreed.
Maybe it's just Kip Roy or something who's ruined it for me.
I like the practice that was linked in the link goes to the human calculator section of the neurocord, where you see like a super simplified version of a heat map that like also gets boiled down into a yes/no binary of red and white. And like I like the idea of being able to just toss up a chart like that and have it mean something. Like here's a block of color and you can get meaning out of it. That feels like true communication to me.
Yeah, I got Tolgi's in there, I think.
Yeah, I did the numbers first, I think.
Okay.
And I was, well, let's just make this a heat map because it looked kind of bad. And I think this is one of the prettier heat maps I've done. I found it very pleasing to look at. Maybe that's just me.
I struggle a lot with heat maps because I'm just bad at categorization. I think maybe I'm just a new type in denial. I don't know.
That's funny as fuck.
I don't know. At this point, I'm too tired to care. But I try so hard to explain things that I'm like, oh, I gotta be a fascinator, right?
Babe,
or something. I don't know.
Babe.
But I do feel like a purple column. Like purple column's way of doing things just makes sense to me. So
Babe,
that's kind of why I
just
settled
might
on
be
that.
a new type, and that's hilarious to me.
It's possible.
That's really funny. Like,
I feel
Anyway.
like on that layer, I'd be the fascinator instead.
I could see it actually. I was gonna say I don't think so, but that's real funny.
What do you mean?
Well, compared to you, I'm more like
I think that's just because you're a space player.
streamlined
Streamlined?
or something.
I'm
Or
lost.
not streamlined, but more like...
Your brain definitely works in a more coherent fashion than mine.
Yeah,
All I know is I'm top right column, and I don't think I'm an overseer because I'm too lateral. But it's very confusing. Anyway,
Yeah.
My
Tangent.
shit definitely fucked up recording, and that is really funny.
oh no,
Yeah, it Edison.
Did it stop?
Edison.
When?
Edison. It does the 30 minutes thing where it's limited for some reason, but it shouldn't be. I know I changed it a long time ago, but it's not. So,
oh god.
I don't know if it's first 30 minutes or the last 30 minutes. I did fix it. I did change it a while back. I don't know if you're going to be able to fix it. I apologize, Urcoy. Cut me out the audio if you need to.
There would be a large amount of dead space.
That's pretty
That's
funny.
going to be a little bit confusing.
That's pretty funny to me.
Yep.
We'll just say that that's like us just censoring you for being too edgy.
I'm
You
not
were
even
just-
edgy. I'm just hilarious. And nobody can
Yes.
handle that.
You're hilarious in like a good edgy way.
Is it good
But you
edgy?
just-
That's all I've wanted from my life.
Swing and a miss.
Swing
Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Damn.
Canvas has been censored, unfortunately, from this episode.
Yep.
We tried. The universe just didn't let it happen.
This is the first time we have successfully disavowed.
Disavowed. Let's go.
Oh man.
I did it, Mom.
I mean, are you recording again?
I'm
Because if
recording
you're not,
again.
it's
I
very
fixed it. I
okay.
fixed it. I think.
All right.
We'll see what we have. But yeah.
We'll see what we have.
Oh,
So I
Yeah.
like that they said neurotypeline content
yeah.
Yeah.
instead of neurotyping.
Yeah, because I was literally going through posts to put in our outline. I was like, hey, no one's ever done that before. I could have sworn someone had, but they didn't. And I had done this chart a while ago and just posted on the Discord, so might as well post it.
Yeah,
on
I know.
Reddit.
I've definitely
Sounds cool.
seen posts like this. It just,
Yeah.
so good. We got one on.
I like our little back and forth in the comments here. Like, and how how I say, like, I personally haven't ever seen this idea before, but it seems like it would be an easy one to discover. Don't know. Genius, though. Big approve. I'm expecting a lot of unfinished charts, though, because meeting 16 different kinds of people is hard these days. And for most at least for most people. Hell, these days, meeting 16 people is hard for most people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whereupon I respond, Yep, I want to see more of these. Is meeting 16 types of people difficult? Most people go to school or work. That's a lot of connections down. Plus family, maybe some sort of social hobby. And not even to speak of the unlimited access to humanity the internet provides. Sure, you won't have close friends of every neurotype, but you'll probably have experience interacting with a few of each.
To which I would say, will you actually have comprehended that you have interacted with all those types of people, or will they just disappear from your memory because it was too difficult to
Yeah, I just look at the jawline and I know immediately.
Clearsighted jawline. Welcome to the neuro jawline, everybody.
Your favorite phrenology podcast, bitch.
Yes. So now we just need to map that onto the axes and we're set to go.
Yeah. So I do
Did
think
you know
that,
type C delta B is the brow ridge of the day?
I think two things are happening here. One, it is hard to meet lots of different kinds of people because it's hard to meet anyone these days.
Especially to a point where you actually understand what sort of person they are.
Right. It has to be a non-shallow interaction.
Exactly. Yeah. A conversation of some sort.
You also have to include the fact that meeting 16 different kinds of people and getting to that point involves a minimum level of interest in your fellow human being, which I don't think most people have anymore. Everyone I know hates everyone else who has ever lived.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Misanthropy is the only quality all humans share.
I think if I were less overwhelmed, I would probably have the capacity to be more interested in people. I think I'm just on, I don't know, information overload or something, to the point where I'm like, human connection.
What a mistake.
My brain is shutting down.
Do you guys ever think that the internet and the ease of access to meet every type of person that you think you might get along with in any community might have fucked up in some sense of way? For me, I realized
I think
the easiest way for me to interact with a person is hey, what music are you into? And if that person says anything off the top 40, I instantly want to murder them and their entire family.
Yeah, I think the ability to drill down so incredibly much into niches towards people who are essentially just you sort of limits the amount of effort you normally have to put in to find some similarity or shared humanity with others. So people just don't.
It makes people
they
more
just
available.
Stick to the little bubbles.
It makes people way more available to me, but it kind of raises my standards. I'm sure there's an alternate universe version of me where there's not an internet, where I still talk to people as much as I would normally nowadays, because I go up and talk to people for fun. But I have that version of me has a much higher tolerance for bullshit that I hate, because you don't have the option of finding people that you don't hate, so you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And there's
go ahead.
Your chances of establishing a connection are higher, because that is a world in which people are not trained out of trying to form connections. They always expect connections to come to them, which means that no one knows how to talk to anybody anymore, except for me. I am the only person who knows how to talk to anyone out of the blue.
False.
Mm-hmm. There is one thing I will say is
Wrong.
I think one facet that really maybe impacts things a lot more than we give it credit for is the lack of nonverbal in-person dynamics, even down to physical, physiological interactions that we maybe don't even necessarily register. Mm-hmm. Being in person with other human beings is such a it's kind of a much wider range of experience than just talking to text or audio. Yeah. Or talking about certain topics. If you're just kind of being in the presence of another human being as a whole, it's kind of, there's an indescribable aspect to it. And I think that can kind of be a fuel for connection that is kind of underrated.
Yeah, it's always kind of surprised and upset and sort of confused me people use this incredible ability to sort of be anonymous, immediately vanish if a conversation doesn't go the way they want to or whatever. And they're using it to not be themselves.
Yeah.
Why the fuck?
Why would you do that? Why would you not use it to be more yourself?
Free path, yeah. And people have made the argument that, well, you're not really being yourself because all of the subconscious things you do, stuff people could perceive, or your nervousness in the first place, this fear of being called out or whatever, that's part of you. But I don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because you still have those tics in typing. You never get rid of subconscious stuff. That's ludicrous. That's made up by old people who don't understand how texting people works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe that's going to go away with time. It's deeply confusing. And then you can build these types of deeper connections after a while, because being anonymous sucks.
Yeah.
I think. I really like knowing how people look, but you can test the shallow water first.
Yeah.
And that's really useful, I think, in the abstract.
I think we kind of need different platforms than we have,
Mhm.
but nobody seems to want to. Because they don't want to leave their pre-existing network unless the service being offered by the other one is just good enough. Like,
Yeah.
I never would have thought that Discord would have taken off.
I just liked how it worked. It was like TeamSpeak, but easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but
TeamSpeak plus
there were-
group chat plus all kinds of other stuff.
TeamSpeak, I saw it as a replacement as forums. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
this
Skype,
is the
though.
eventual
Like-
conclusion of what a forum would have gone to. you
It's a
know?
forum plus Skype, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of golden days Tumblr in a lot of ways, plus voice chat.
I'm curious. Wait, let's heart, please.
I'm very,
Yeah.
very old, as you might recall.
Yes,
So, like IRC, ICQ,
Let's go.
AOL Instant Messenger, all of those. Like,
I still had those.
Yeah.
It's not that
Yeah, but it's not
old.
the same.
yes, you
had
are.
you had other options.
Right. What I'm saying is that this platform style, I thought that was going away when everybody was getting onto Facebook, because Facebook was a tantalizing trap for people.
Yeah.
I think I might actually about half the crew here was present for the private show of the Tarbuck Oldification list, which I'm now going to wave in front of the audience. Ideas of mine that I had taken on that are older ideas. And so you may remember my complaints about how Facebook is ruining society, in particular the way that people communicate, because that has a lot of carryover with this conversation that we're having here. I think I might turn that into like a video.
I would love that. That would
Yeah.
be
Would there
good.
be any
Yeah.
interest in that?
Yes.
I think,
yes.
you know what I want to say to all that is I think I kind of wonder if we've hit I feel like, at least for some people, we've kind of hit a tipping point where, like, the sort of psychological trap, the sort of, what's the word? Perfect. Yeah. The perfect psychological trap of certain social media sites has kind of like worn thin, because it can only go so far before it either has to become unrecognizable or kind of fall apart at the seams or become just completely monotonous.
Mhm.
And if you get to a point where you get sick of the monotony, you kind of will start to realize what you've been missing. It's kind of like if you get addicted to like eating a certain food for like a long time, just constantly, and then you finally realize, hey, I actually really don't like how this tastes anymore.
Mhm.
I haven't had like a good salad in a while.
Yeah.
Let me
I know what you mean.
now I actually value, like, other kinds of connection and stuff. Like, I think there is a certain maturity that is starting to permeate social media a little bit, or a more mature way of interacting with it. I'm not saying that it's necessarily normal or pervasive, but I think it's starting to.
I hate to
at
cut
least with
you
people
off,
who are-
but I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go
do
ahead.
so. The maturity that's proliferating on social media is a faux one, as if it like how do I say this? Like, people have become mature, like, hey, take care of yourself and da-da-da, but like, don't get off the app. You know, like nobody said you should probably uninstall Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook.
There are some people who actually have gone in that direction, and the thing is, their influence is going to disappear off the social media platform as soon as they go. So, like, it's not going to proliferate. Yeah. But I think the valuing of other things is the first step towards getting to that point.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
This is kind of the thing that I said to everybody who was like complaining about me getting off of Facebook way back in the day when I was doing that, because I was ahead of the curve on that by a lot.
Good.
I only used Facebook for about 6 months back in like 2009. So
yeah, I didn't last long on there either.
Yeah, at that point, it wasn't even a full year since they had opened up. It may not have been 2009, but it wasn't even a full year since they had opened it up from colleges. It used to be that you had to have a college email address in order to register for the website at all.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
And I was seeing how people were using the platform to not interact. And I was like, all right, I'm out. If you ever cared about forming any kind of connection with me, you will tap the network and have other means of reaching out to me. If you don't, then then you just don't want it enough. Like, you could get to me if you wanted to, but you don't. So I don't value you because you aren't valuing me.
Yeah.
And that was the note that I wrote out on.
That's like way too mature for modern day Zoomers. Modern day.
I was on Facebook for also a few months, maybe a bit more. Essentially only got onto it because I wasn't allowed to. Was a child at that point, and I used it with a friend of mine to write little article, blog posts, whatever. They were essentially reviews of random life experiences.
Yeah.
But yeah, after a while, first of all, my friend didn't keep up doing this, and I was like, well, I'm essentially just on here for no good reason, and it sucks. And I could literally scroll those onto a wall that would just get as many views. So yeah, also ollie outie.
Yep.
I was more like, I think I latched onto social media specifically because it allowed me to have more like deeper connections with people, because I was, by virtue of the way that my family that I grew up, didn't really have social connections with the real people around me. Didn't really have access to those circles very much. So social media and the internet in general was kind of my way of, and as a result, I met some of the people that are the most important to me at this point. But also, like, I've also kind of become a type of person that I don't think could find nearly as many connections as I probably could have like 5 years ago here where I actually live, because the town I live in is very much mostly certain demographics, and there's very few people who are outside of that circle, and if they are, they usually leave.
Because they get driven out by people in white hoods? Is that it?
No, more just middle class white evangelicals who are nice but very normy.
I doubt that they are middle class, but that's a
lot
conversation
of them
for
are.
another
A
day.
lot of them are. Well, yeah. Anyway,
I mean, if I wanted to dig in, I could be like
suburban. Let's just say suburban.
Yeah, you can be suburban, and like, I just want to pivot to like, everybody says everybody is middle class all the time. All the rich people think they're middle class. All the poor people think that they're middle class. They're not. There's like borders on this, and because they don't look, they would be shocked to know where they actually fall in the class spectrum if you even accepted the idea that there is a middle class. Because if you wind the conversation back, there's two classes: the workers and the owners. But my anarcho-syndicalist hat is currently on the floor over there. I literally have one, and I'm not going to put it on for the sake of this conversation, because we just hit the 2-hour mark, so we got to finish the episode.
Marxism. Anyway,
Marxism.
Petit bourgeois has been a term for a long time, so it's not such a new thing.
Yeah, I wasn't really trying
sure.
to get at any sort of like class thing so much as
Yeah,
like a
right.
specific like perspective of looking at the world that's not quite in tune with the grittiness of real life to the degree that some other people are. Anyway.
Yeah, but the point I originally wanted to go to was that I feel like it's very easy to justify to yourself this. I'm going to search for forums and communities where I'm going to find people that are very, very similar to me, just because that seems to fit into the way we are trained to think of productiveness. You're not wasting your time. You're eliminating friction, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds really good. Very easy trap to fall into. But I think you're just missing the objective you're going for to begin with there. Because the goal shouldn't be, hey, I want to talk and I want it to be as easy as possible. Sometimes that's the goal. You can do that occasionally. But usually the most fruitful stuff, not in the way of narrowing down your own ideas, but making your ideas good in the way that they conform with the way humanity is. Mostly you want your ideas to be broadly applicable. So it's good to find out about different types of people and talking to them.
I think a lot of people my age will just disagree with the notion that there is there's a right and wrong or like a way that humanity is or any of that. They'll focus and hone in on that, right? Because it feels wrong.
Yeah, what I mean is I think you should be aware of what you're doing. There's two ways you can try to communicate. First of all, find an environment that's good, that's supportive, where you find people you can easily talk to.
But that's the breaking
that make you not feel miserable. And also, seek out people to fine-tune your ideas, to find out about humanity, to interact, to not be thought bubbled. That's also important. Do both of those things to the extent that you're capable of doing them at any given moment.
The trick at this point is doing that without inherently kind of looking for fights. Like, how do you do that without it being a point of antagonism or confrontation?
Yeah, right, because that last thing is very rewarding if you actually get something out of it. Don't try to debate. I hate fucking debates.
Yeah.
Debates are the worst thing ever invented. Debates are literally the worst way to use human speech.
Yes.
I'm kind of in favor of finding places with really with communities of people who are like you in some capacity, because I just have higher standards than that for regular life now. Like, I won't bring somebody into my life, not unless they're like me, but unless I think they are good. And that's a big change in my life. I want good, valuable people, and what I consider to be good and valuable has kind of narrowed the field a lot compared to what it would be otherwise.
Yeah, I just think you should always be open to the possibility that you might find goods you are not aware of yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
And therefore you should not categorically only look for the goods you already know of.
And therefore you should not decide friendliness based on neurotype.
Why in the world?
It's all tied back together. There we go.
It's not, but I made it.
Yes. Thank you.
Talk to people with a great variety of different jawlines.
Luckily, I do that all the time. So I'm good. Right. I will succeed at life.
I don't. I want to fucking.
I've got everything.
I want you to be shaped like a motherfucking square. If you are not shaped like Steve from Minecraft, what the fuck are you doing in this world? You should die.
Speaking of Facebook, impressionistic people like bad things.
What are you talking about? I love great things. Everything I like is good. Like the Holocaust. What? I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Do we have to say it? Disavow?
Somebody get this guy some coffee or something.
No coffee. Coffee will make me have a heart attack. Literally. I will die. I'm souped off of adrenaline, alcohol, and some other form of methamphetamine or cocaine. I don't know and I don't care. Rodriguez said it would be good for me.
Did your body just naturally synthesize it, or what?
I am
Up
this.
or down or hey, whatever keeps the play up.
This is what air shit is, kids.
Okay, I'm gonna read this post here.
Yeah, please.
Impressionistic people like bad things. Okay. One thing that always has puzzled me about my taste in media is how often I like things which are obviously not quote-unquote well-made, but I like their basic concept and then project more into it. I theorize this phenomenon to be at least related to my impressionistic mind. When I thought about in light of the neurotyping chart, it suddenly felt kind of obvious. After all, one of the core aspects of an impressionistic mind is the tendency to ascribe more meanings to things as a result of the impression they get from it. So it only makes sense that while more lexical thinkers' opinion of something will be more akin to an analysis of what's displayed, a more impressionistic person will have a more personal and potentially altered idea of the same thing. As a result, they might get more out of a piece of media that lexical people will judge based solely on what it is, especially if the piece of media is not well realized, as it leaves more space for their impressions to contribute to their overall experience. I'm not sure if I agree with that entirely, but yeah, there is kind of like this fuzziness to the impressionistic mind where like you said, quote unquote bad piece of media can kind of spark into it can kind of tug at something else entirely.
Yeah.
That is not on the surface.
Yeah, I've definitely encountered this a bunch of times. Like, this idea that sometimes I just like bad things is totally accurate. There's a certain amount of it that is, if you are able to push past the difficult parts, then you can get to like this creamy center and then expand on that concept, and that is on its own satisfying. It's something that I like about watching bootlegs of musical theater, where somebody is just recording from the audience illegally, abolish intellectual property.
Amen.
They like there's a lot missing from the experience, but I feel like I can fill it in from what I'm being given, you know, or there will be some part where it just kind of falls flat, and my brain sort of fills it in a satisfying way, like with the Black Cauldron, for example. There's big chunks missing from the Black Cauldron that make me really like it. Or what's another example of me liking something bad? This episode. This is the thing that I was waiting to say. Since the beginning, I was going to call out how much I hate the recording of this episode, because I wanted to tie it together into this post as a magnificent art piece. You have come on this journey with me this far. I have despised this recording so much. Canvas, you annoy the shit out of me. I hate you. I personally hate you. In like an entertaining way, but also in a non-entertaining way.
I'm sorry.
But I don't feel like that would have really like I didn't say anything before. Like normally I go out and fight people, but it was worth it to me for the art of like bringing people along in this journey, following my like ebbing and flowing frustration with you. Until they got to this point, so that I could make the point that I'm making right now, which is, you got to push past all of that stuff because there's valuable things underneath. There's some really good posts in this episode, which is why I also am kind of not sad that the recording is maybe fucked up, because for as valuable as this art piece is that I'm doing right now as I'm roasting you, it is also valuable to me to preserve just the good bits, to like pick the diamonds out of the turd and like clean them off and then set them into a ring or something. By which I mean just re-record this episode, but good this time. By which I mean without you in it. I hate you.
Starbuck, I thought we would have a great... I like to think we have a great relationship, but I'm fucked up. But also, I'd still have a bad relationship with you because I'm fucked up. So please allow me to give you this grape basket. This grape basket. Fuck me. Grape basket. Shout out to... That's my next time cake post. Holy fuck. I'm onto something.
And
I
this ties into the
I have
previous
nothing
post.
else for this. I'm
Sorry.
writing a post now.
Yeet.
All right.
I think that tangent ties into the previous post, which is sometimes it's important. Some things you get valuable things out of interacting with people that you struggle to interact with.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, what was anything learned?
No, there was
though?
nothing fucking learned. It is you learn something from me. I think you're on crack cocaine, or you're like a super genius who pulls nothing out of everything. Sorry, something out. Wow.
I do feel like we're pulling nothing out of everything right now.
I'm gonna stop drinking. Nah, that's a lie.
All right.
Yeah. So to circle back to the post.
Yeah.
This is definitely like a big factor in how I interact with art, and it kind of also there are a lot of movies and albums and such that, especially when I was younger, I like, which having a value system is kind of a thing that develops and crystallizes, I think, over time, that can kind of impact whether we can enjoy art or not to some extent. But also, like, being able to fill in the blanks in my head with sort of a vibe is a big part of the reason that I like certain things, because the way that it struck my brain in a completely intangible sense is like the reason that I like it. And also this made me think of, like, I wonder if this kind of there's those albums that are like really well regarded for their sort of technical expertise, and they're like technically by some sort of semi largely agreed upon standard kind of regarded as good, but that I just find absolutely no.
I can see you trying your damnedest to avoid the word objective.
Yeah, it's actually, I don't know. My brain is a little scrambled right now. The point is, yeah.
You're
Sorry,
like
this is
reeling
bad
from the
audio.
shock and awe that I just laid down upon you by spitting truth to power.
Well, no, that I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Oh, okay. Now I'm fitting it into what I was saying, and now I actually understand that. Yes, you are correct.
I would tie this into my comment that I left on here, where I said basically it's sort of about using a more internal metric, or like cultivating an internal metric, I guess.
Yeah. What this post got me sort of thinking about is, okay, what does not well made mean? And the conclusion I kind of got to that applies to pretty much most media is there's something from the outside flowing into it that you can't quite disentangle. Like, bad writing is bad because it pulls you out of the experience and makes you think of the author. Why did they write it this way? The sentence is wrong. It makes you aware that a person has produced it. And the same for, like, cinema or something. If you see noticeably the green screen or something, not well made means you can see the gears. People don't like seeing the gears.
You can't suspend your disbelief when you want to.
Right. And I think what that causes is it makes it for lexical people difficult to sort of dispatch it, to compartmentalize it into these boxes, because there's inherently this connection to the real world. Whereas for the impressionist, you get this idea that's already connected to everything. That's sort of the starting point. There's not much effort there. So I thought, okay, what would lexical people do for this then? Because obviously lexical people can draw a great deal from bad art, quote unquote bad art, something that still has this element of the artist, but the bad element of the artist, the things they didn't get right that break the immersion for you. And I think of these sort of YouTube videos or posts, they're like, this is how you fix this series, or fix this movie, or fix this story. That's the lexical way of dealing with it. They see the good, the nugget of gold, and then they build the boxes around it. They take only the completely assembled part of the Lego set that is good and build the rest out from there. Because that's how they properly cope with that.
Yeah.
Whereas, so the impressionistic way of approaching that would be to see the flaws as kind of inherent to the existence of the thing itself.
Yeah, you find a way to enjoy it as a whole as it is.
Yeah, you don't have to disentangle because you're used to things being entangled.
And you kind of recognize that the flaws are kind of a part of the fact that this thing came into existence the way it did is the reason that
I have a great capacity for cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance is a very valuable skill.
Yeah, I unironically agree.
I think that I connect this idea very much to this old video by the now defunct channel called Idea Channel about what it means to be the Dark Souls of something. Where being the Dark Souls of something is like when it's difficult to get into, but you can only really get to the valuable parts by engaging with that difficulty. You know?
Yes.
Like I feel like that's a very impressionistic way of taking bad media, which is it is bad, but there's good stuff in here that you would be missing if you just ignore it because it's bad.
It's bad, and that's why it's good, because the struggle is what gives the good stuff value.
And that's why like a lot of like old impressionistic media, I think, came out of gay cinema, like campiness, like John Waters movies, stuff like this is why John Waters was on my mind earlier when we were talking about ContraPoints, is because ContraPoints is a great example of that. A lot of ContraPoint and it makes sense if you are familiar with like John Waters films, drag shows, like that kind of like camp gay media. It's often really bad. It's just also good. As John Waters himself said, you have to have... I think this was Waters. Maybe it was that fucking other guy. Come on. He took pictures of cans of soup. You know what I'm talking about?
Wow, that's a lot of soup.
He's... Here, let me... Painting...
I feel like I know.
Soup can. What's this guy's name? Andy Warhol. It's either Andy Warhol or it's John Waters. They're basically the same person. The point is, in order to have good bad taste, there's such a thing as good bad taste, and you have to have very good taste in order to successfully have very bad taste.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
And the other thing is that badness, seeing the gears, can be weaponized. When I thought this recently about a person. I've only seen a few videos of them, so don't take this as an endorsement. But you know how J-Reg has really terrible green screen.
Yeah, he's a perfect example of this.
I think that's intentional because he seems like a clever guy.
Yeah,
that at least I can say. And I think the intention is when you speak about ideas in politics, things that people tend to kind of unquestionably accept often from these YouTube talking heads. This is a very clear showing of, hey, this is just a guy making a video.
Yeah.
He wants you to see the gears and have this jarring, have your disbelief suspended, being like, oh, this is just a fucking guy telling me ideas.
I get this feeling a lot whenever I think about my history with old That Guy with the Glasses videos and content creators, people like the Spoonie one, who was my favorite guy for a really long time. Spoonie was my favorite guy up until Beatrice became my favorite internet person for a while. And then, Spoonie lost his mind and fell off the face of the earth. Or like Linkara's show, Atop the Fourth Wall, where there is a storyline happening here done with only one actor playing all the parts, and he also wrote it, and he's doing all the special effects, and he doesn't know how to do special effects, but the story that he's telling, it's earnestly acted, and it's really good. Like, there are definitely bad parts to it, but the bad parts are good also. And if you are pushed off by the bad parts, then you just don't get it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Canvas is trying to go for. And just not meeting with
not
me.
at all. What are you talking about? There's no bad parts. It's only good. What do you? I'm a god.
I took it was an easy shot.
Only
Man.
the GUI center.
You can't begrudge me an easy shot. It was there for the taking. It was there for the taking, like your butthole.
I mean, if you want to take it, I'm not opposed.
Oh, I'll take it. All right.
Let's go. I've been eating some axes since Nom. God, I haven't even been alive.
You
that
should
long.
see the things I could do with my throat, man.
Oh.
Wow. This is taking a turn.
yeah. Let's do gag reflex time.
Oh, no.
I have none.
What did you expect? I'm in the fucking call. Of course I'm gonna fuck my host. What are you talking about? You don't fuck your host?
All right.
What's wrong with you? It's like part 1 of like the entire manual of being cool.
Yeah, right. It's A, kick the cook, kick the cook, kiss the cook. B, fuck the host. Rika, suck typing.
Okay. My last point on the previous post.
Oh, okay.
is,
Sorry.
There's also a feeling when you hear a speech like the one that I just gave about bad media, like it's something that you get on a rewatch or like an acquired taste. No, it isn't. I see things for how they could be when I'm watching it the first time. That was my experience of Linkara. That was my experience of the terrible, terrible CW show Arrow. It was bad and good. Because I can see what it should be, and that's what I'm experiencing, in addition to what I'm literally experiencing.
I find for myself, okay, you can objectively say Jimi Hendrix is a bad guitarist because he relies too much on dissonance to create complicated types of noise, distortion, whatever the fuck harmonies. I don't care. But if you were to think about it for 2 fucking seconds, that nigga's playing a really fast guitar and it sounds cool. Like, it doesn't need to be that complicated for you to say it's good. If I look at Basquiat's art, for example, it looks like a guy made a face or haphazard attempts at making people with paint. And you can say yes, no, maybe so, but I like it. Who the fuck cares? The I is important in that statement. It's not you like it, it's I like it. Fuck you for arguing with me. I like to see like the impressionist people saying they like bad things. It's like, no, they participated in the medium in a very different way than you did. It's not that they looked deeper into it. They looked in themselves for a second, saw something that is in themselves in that piece, and then took away something for themselves. Not for you, not for the art, for themselves, motherfucker. It's pretty fucking obvious. But no.
There you go.
God.
Yeah. That was the point that I was just about to make as kind of my final thoughts is like, I was just thinking about abstract art or impressionism in an artistic, like a painting sense.
Be careful where you talk about impressionism and art, because there is a difference in impressionistic art. Look into Van Gogh.
Maybe I'm using the wrong. I'm not really.
I don't give a fuck about terms.
Know.
I'm just letting you know. Someone will get confused if they know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna say like any art that is not kind of a direct, stylized or otherwise, a direct recreation of actual things or representation of actual objects. Anything that's kind of meant to give you a vibe rather than, actually a painting of a thing. It's all about what you, the viewer, bring to the experience. And it's true of other art too, but like it's kind of essential to abstract art that whatever you bring to the art is the value that it will have to some extent, because there isn't really like a measure of art, mechanical skill in the same sense.
I see what
And
you're
that feels
getting
related.
at.
I don't know.
No,
yeah.
I see what you're getting at. Like, okay, my art teacher had this thing called Biff Schmangies, where he took Biff from Back to the Future and the Schmangy brothers and combined them into people who talk about art. Basically, the simplified version of why people will see like an abstract painting like something of a black dot and say it looks bad. I could do that, is because they don't understand what it makes them feel and they're not taking that into consideration.
Yes, exactly.
They're weighing too much on technical or perceived technical aspects of art and then geeking about all these other things. Like, if you don't know, you can look into it. It's what came after Baroque, which is cooler. Baroque stylings. Largely, how do I say this? Well, one, misogynist, garbage, and boring. Pandering. It's fucking boring. If you like Rococo, you're retarded. Kill yourself. I'm not saying this as an edgy thing, as an edgy statement. No. Actually jump off a bridge because you didn't get the joke. And I'm not talking about what the artist was painting. The artist fucking hated it because, like, Jesus, why do I gotta paint a 13-year-old's panties? Yes, that is a thing, motherfuckers. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna drink more. But yeah, Rococo.
The Clearsighted document speaks explicitly about Rococo as a Clearsighted.
Fuck Rococo! Fuck Rococo! God!
Yeah.
This is why people thought I was a Rage player. This is all making sense now.
Yeah. So the point that I'm, to wrap it all up, seeing art as kind of like for lack of a better way of saying it, sort of showing off your technical prowess, it can sometimes be entirely missing the point when it comes to art that is technically bad but trying to communicate something. Like, it's not about, like, doing it well is secondary to doing it.
The greatest example of this is Rembrandt, because Rembrandt did these very splotchy paintings where Rembrandt's an aesthetic, by the way. Rembrandt did these very splotchy, big, blotchy paintings. When I say blotchy, I mean he took literal gorges of fucking, like, he would take the exact, like, I don't know, the toothpaste paddle or whatever the fuck you want to call it, of oil paint, put it directly onto the canvas, take his palette knife, not the brush, the palette knife, and make these smudges and say that's a self-portrait. That's impressionism right there. It's a fuzzy, I'll even send you the fucking, I'll put it in chat so you can use it for the video. But he took these smudgy understandings of the self, which blend into the background, kind of lose focus. They look like a camera lens long before we even made a fucking camera. And I don't know what else to say. Where's the fucking painting? Hold on. Let me show you. I'll just show you.
Yeah.
There.
To quote a character I wrote 2 days ago, show me the person who looks at a sunset and feels that everything worth conveying is its literal image, a simple fucking color gradient. I've had toasters with soul enough to see how inhuman such an impulse is. I feel cosmic horror at the idea.
That's a nice painting.
Oh, fuck. This is some good stuff.
That's Rembrandt for you. Motherfuckers, look into art history.
I have turned around. This is my favorite part of this whole episode.
Look into because I'm like I'm running out of alcohol and I'm not able to go like Bazinga mode for like 5 minutes straight. I'm mad. I'm fucking mad.
No, you've been a lot more productive these past few minutes.
I know, and I wanted to keep up the start.
I wish we'd had that.
No, fuck you. You said, listen, you knew what you were getting when you put me on this podcast. Unproductivity.
No, you weren't that bad.
I know. I didn't know what to do. I don't know what this is. I don't watch this thing. Fine. If you want me to like be productive and add impressionist ideas into this, I will. But I need alcohol and I need to be running low to have it happen. Shout out to Rembrandt. Look at those fucking eyes. They're just dark.
Yeah,
you can't really see much. You can see like the little indents of previous layers over top because he's curving them with his fucking palette knife. Shout out to art history. Shout out to painters. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, to actually cap this off, I wanted to tie this back with the Dark Souls thing.
Yes.
Where you
Good.
You take a while, you give it time, and you sort of work through the thing and grow to understand it. I feel like this is the way all of my favorite stuff has grown on me. I feel like it's extremely rare that I see something and I really like it and it stays that way.
Yeah.
Hey, that kind of stuff tends to wear on me. So I think there's a way you can sort of marry the technical aspects, like media that is technically very good, but also you can't get everything out of it on the first go. You have to kind of smudge yourself into it and then kind of come back out the other side. And then you can say, like, this is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, you have to kind of you have to connect with it. You kind of have to become it has to become a part of you.
Right.
To some degree. And then the value comes out of that.
It's like seeing versus being, right?
It's the time cake post from last time. It's the self as part of the world. That's part of the arena.
I think there's something missing about postmodern art that's where somebody says, hey, I could have done that. No, you fucking couldn't have. Have you ever tried?
Yes.
There was that one. There was that one painting that was really famous that was just red. It was like a
I know
big
exactly
red
what you're
block,
talking about.
and somebody ran a knife through it, and they tried.
They couldn't restore it.
They spent hundreds of millions of dollars paying people for like a team of people, many hours of work trying to fix it, and they couldn't. They couldn't fix
red,
it.
white, and blue is the thing.
And also, when it comes to art, especially, like, it's easy to say, hey, there's a square, that square of red, I could have done that. See it in real life where it's like 8 feet tall and makes you feel like, it makes you feel something completely indescribable. Like, that's what it's about.
Well,
it's not about, I made a square and it's in an art museum. Look at how cool I am.
If we're specifically talking about Barnett Newman, this motherfucking impressionist, externalist motherfuckers who caught the vibes very early, it's more so about like engrossing you and like fully immersing you in a world of red or a world of a color, and then like having these slight slashes of something alien. You're supposed to stare at it for like 20 minutes. By the way, shout out to this is specifically for every place that holds art. Put the motherfucking artist note before you go into the room. Why? Because artists have very specific things. There's a piece where you're supposed to run around it to create wind, to cause it to move. And guess what these motherfuckers did in England? They forced you to look at it and not run around. Now, my art teacher's a fucking hilarious motherfucker who decided I'm gonna run around it because I seen this, I studied this. He got kicked out the art gallery instantly. But like, it's funny. You're supposed to do these things. Artists have intention. They put it into their work, and sometimes it's not obvious. Barnett Newman made a literal line where you were supposed to not go closer to the art so you can get it enrolled into your fucking space. Every follicle, every fucking bit every synapse in your eye absorbs this fucking red light beaming down into you, and you feel nothing but just...
Right.
If you're cool.
There's two things people don't get, which is, first of all, people have this weird obsession with effort, which they can't judge anyway. They're fucking idiots. They don't know anything about what's hard. A lot of people mix their own paint, and that's difficult.
I put in a lot of effort and get nothing done.
Nice little thought example. You're the best painter in the world. You paint the most technically difficult and complex and cool thing ever imagined. Takes you 60 years. You finish it, and then you paint it over completely in white, and you put it in a gallery. That is the most effort any painting in this gallery has, and these people will still shit on it. They don't care about effort. They just don't. That's an excuse. No one does. Otherwise, they would appreciate this white painting when they don't know what the fuck is about. I mean, and the second thing is, kind of what Campbell said. It's about intent. Things don't have to be difficult to be cool. No, you couldn't. Well, you could have done it, maybe, for some things, if someone told you how to do it. The thing is, you didn't get this idea by yourself. Primates can technically build batteries. A chimp can build a potato battery. They have the materials. They don't. The idea is the impressive thing, not the putting it together.
I think we've drilled our point home pretty effectively.
No,
at
I
this
haven't.
point, so-
I
but
haven't.
yeah.
I haven't. No. I'm
If you're
tired.
against postmodern art, you're
I'm
fucking
tired.
moron.
I'm so tired of hearing, postmodernity. Shut the fuck up. You don't even know what modernism is, you dumbass. You don't even know the difference between modernism, postmodern, hypermodernism, and contemporary. Guess what, motherfucker? It's a joke! Duh! Ah! I'm gonna scream. I keep reading all these essays of why people think this and all and it's like, no, they don't get it and they don't understand it because they're fucking retarded. They didn't look at the piece and say, this makes me feel something. They looked at it, saw, this makes me feel, no, it doesn't. Alcohol, drugs, fuck you. I'm pissed. I'm very upset. I'm done with this. You made me talk about art, so now I'm screaming.
So how about some socks?
Luckily, the next post is called Finally Sock Time.
Finally.
Oh, this is great.
So
That was fun.
Finally.
But yes,
Yeah,
we
it
are
was.
very done with that topic. Let's move on to sock typing.
Sock typing will make me feel great. Time to start drinking again.
Okay, we have programmer socks and human calculator. We have, I don't know, kind of high socks with a rainbow pattern around the ankle in technician contemplative, with normal, slightly less high socks, like a bit above the ankle, and lower left bookkeeper. In upper right bookkeeper, we have like woolly thick socks that are folded around near the ankle,
Like mittens, but
very
socks.
comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
mittens but
winter
socks.
mittens. Socks.
Yes, winter
Um,
socks. Yeah.
I love these. This is great.
Yeah.
Pinterest winter socks.
Pinterest winter socks.
Then we have like even higher this time pink and white programmer socks in understanding.
I think the
standards.
point is that it's like under like a skirt or dress or something.
yeah,
Kind of. It's like coming
Yeah.
out of there.
with ballet slippers and like upper right clear-sighted.
Yeah, the
It's
toe
it's
socks.
no-show socks for
Yeah.
flats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, what are they called? Thing and overseer?
Leggings.
Pantyhose.
Leggings, right?
Pantyhose,
That's
yeah.
the word.
Pantyhose or
Uh,
leggings.
Mhm.
The difference
Yeah.
is thickness.
The difference is thickness.
Really?
And then
Hmm.
like
I think. I don't know. That's my
Okay, I'm fucking.
That's what I think.
I'm laughing only because they put fishnets in overseer fascinated. That's just fucking funny.
Right on the corner.
That is
dead in the center.
that is
of the
so
abstract
good.
quadrant.
That is so good, but so dumb.
and then,
the
and then new
type
type. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I remember talking to Rika about these ones. They're just like socks that are so long they're like folded onto themselves.
Flashdance socks. Like
yeah,
they're
it's
almost
just-
leg warmers.
I'm regretting a lot of things while looking at this image.
Yeah. They
They're
can,
socks
like,
that are the
always-
length of your pants, but they're bunched down to like below the
They're
like
probably the length
down
of
below
you.
the knees.
They're,
So like
Yeah.
they're gonna swallow you up.
no, they are the length of you usually, because they're. That's.
And
You could probably stretch them bitches up to your neck, bro. You could be like that one small man picture. Hold on, let me look at that again.
an aesthetician impressionist pure instinct has nothing, so I'm just gonna assume that we are barefoot.
Yes.
We're the barefoot people.
So are analyst and
What?
fascinator and quick-witted.
I get
Fits
it's.
because I have a raging hatred for
I mean, that's why you wear
socks.
sandals, right?
I don't own
You
sandals
are
currently.
fucking up. You're fucking up heavily. Wear some sandals.
Dude, sandals life.
Sandals are fucking amazing. Like, I won't lie. I do like me some good socks every once in a while, but like sandals.
Alright, Tarbuck, what are you wearing right now?
All right, and this is gonna. I'm barefoot right now, but
Let's
if it
go.
wasn't hot in my house,
Same.
then I would be wearing the bookkeeper socks. But I have to quibble with the bookkeeper socks. See, I can tell that this person was made by I guess a not American, because you would never put black socks of that cut in that spot if you were from America. You would put
Really?
white socks in that
Yep.
spot.
Okay, yes.
Folded
Really?
folded over in a way like you pull them it's crew cut socks, you pull them all the way up, then you fold them down and then back up again, so that there's like this triple layer like thicker spot just above your ankle, and they have to be white socks, and that is the look of the bookkeeper.
Oh God.
See, that has to be an American thing, because if I see someone wearing white socks, I think they're a fucking sociopath.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah,
All my
pretty
socks are white.
American. Oh,
I am a sociopath.
listen, Romebrooks. Wait. Romebrooks, how many women have you murdered? And if it is men, I need to know the exact names of the bodies so I can find all the important parts.
The socks.
Yes,
The
of course. What the fuck do you guys take me for?
There was this guy I knew back in college who let slip that he was from Germany originally. And I'm like, I fucking knew it. And everybody else turns and looks at me, and I was like, what, you can't tell? And everybody's like, no, he has the accent down like 100%. And he's like, yeah, I didn't think that, like, I've been living here for more than 10 years. I didn't think that you would be able to tell. I moved here when I was a kid. How can you tell? And I'm like, you're not wearing white socks. You're the only one here other than me.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like black socks are like a dress
Really?
thing. Like you wear those with fancy shoes because they soak up so much heat. Like, yeah.
But they're not exposed to the sun.
They're not exposed to the sun.
Absorb heat. They
And here's the
sunlight.
I don't
the
know.
additional
I
and
don't know
weirdest
the reasoning.
part. You have never touched a sock that is as low quality as these white socks that you get in America. That's why I stopped buying them. Is because they have never made a nice one ever.
I've got some pretty nice ones.
Like, the association I have with white socks is just sportwear, like tennis socks and such. They're white, but I don't think a single person wears white socks.
Yeah, because you would never choose to do that.
But they're not doing sports.
That's something that was definitely like forced onto people at some point in the past in their childhood, and they just carried it forward through the rest of their lives. They don't know any better. I'm trying to show them the true way of the that I got from how things are done in the rest of the world.
I've never found 9 white socks that I actually enjoyed the texture of, so that's why I've stuck with them. Like,
I've got ones that are the texture of the new type ones. They're like light gray.
oh boy,
Yeah.
I don't like that texture.
Those are the best white socks that you'll ever find. Black socks are better. I feel this like compulsion. It's like when you see somebody in a wheelchair at the bottom of a valley or something like that, or like one of those ditches on the side of the road, and they're just in a wheelchair at the bottom of that ditch, and I just want to like pull my car over and push you out into the land of good feeling black socks.
Is this part?
They get like the black specks all
Is this
over.
still part of the
disabled.
disavowed? Holy shit! I've never been more turned on in my entire life. Wait, never mind, Belarus.
Oh yeah, where would we put the socks that it's our feet stretched onto, like printed onto socks? Where would we type those?
Oh god.
I mean, I need me some fucking like big ass socks that are like as
I'd
long
put that
as
like
me.
on the right side of Impressionist, like poking out of the chart.
Right side of Impressionist sounds correct to me. Maybe upper right.
Yeah.
I do think that the fact
maybe.
that Clearsighted is no-show socks implies that Pure Instinct is meant to be barefoot,
Yeah,
like straight up, which makes perfect sense.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Even
scale
in-
is normal ankle socks down to none socks.
Even in the dead of winter, I do not wear socks at home.
Why would you?
The moment I get home, I don't know, my fucking feet get sweaty. I find the sensation of wearing socks deeply uncomfortable.
I don't.
Thank
get
your
the
good
I don't
circulation.
like not feeling the ground under my feet. I like having the
okay.
texture of that.
Okay, I see.
I'm stuck being barefoot a lot of the time because of the sheer amount of sawdust and wood chips that I generate. It fills
geez.
the house like radiation.
If there wasn't so much shit outside and if it wouldn't mandate that I wash my feet the entire time, I would just walk barefoot outside. And if it wasn't frowned upon, it's such a preferable sensation.
Wait, I'm
Do you
just
have like
realizing.
do you have a culture of being against hippies over there? The reason that you're required to wear a shirt and shoes when you go into most stores over here is a holdover from the 60s because that's how they discriminated against hippies. the sign "No shirt, no shoes, no service" came from discriminating against hippies.
That's
No, no, I'm sure I could do that. It's I think walking barefoot outside is kind of normal, or even without a shirt. You can definitely do that. It would only be weird if it's like in winter, or if it's outside of summer, people would look at it weirdly, but there would not be consequences for it. I don't think so.
You see, outside in Canada, everyone like is fucking shirtless for no reason, even in the dead of winter, and it pisses me off. It makes me unreasonably angry with these people. Like, aren't you afraid of frostbite? They look at me like, frostbite, as his fucking limbs go black. What is wrong with you? What? I don't get what the fucking flex is here. Why you do? Get me out of this country. Why am I thinking about Canadians? They just piss me off.
Because you have a thing for flannel.
I don't. I really don't.
Where's the flannel socks?
I hate everyone who wears
Flannel
flannel
socks.
out here. Holy shit.
Flannel socks.
You're telling
Oh my
me you've
God.
never fucked a lumberjack? I bet you've been fucked by a lumberjack.
I haven't been fucked by a lumberjack because all lumberjacks are very fucking homophobic and it makes me upset. Dude, think about their
They don't
burly,
share
their
their
big
wood.
burly arm. They don't share their
Dude, come on. A lumberjack is a pretty gay profession because you are constantly bringing down big wood.
Working with logs.
You have to go to like Quebec to get some gay lumberjacks, and even still, if you spoke a lick of English, they'd start screaming at you.
Yeah, right. I just wanted to say that's cheating. They're essentially French.
Yeah, this is why you don't listen. I would never fuck a Frenchman. If it came down to it, and like I only could fuck Frenchmen, I would kill myself. In all honesty, I'd actually
That's a
have
lot
to
of
like.
death.
That is a
I'd
lot of death.
actually have to consider like jumping off the tallest like building I could find and just like splattering. I would wear a Superman shirt, of course, you know, like to feel come flying for like the last moments. See a couple kids like, is that a bird? Is that a plane? No, it's just a depressed guy. Splat, you know, like.
Oh. Also, Canvas, is your audio still working? Just checking.
Yeah, I started recording like an hour ago.
Okay, just making sure.
I had to
crap
fix
on
it.
I'm looking out for
there's-
you. That's all.
Well, every time I kept checking it religiously. I walked away to get a drink and it died. So that's how my life works. I'm not allowed to leave this room or else everything fucks up.
That's fine. That was in the more bullshit section anyway.
I mean, I was just quiet like when I realized it died and it
Right.
made me sad.
I'll just have to line it up and it's fine. Whatever.
It's gonna be a bitch. I'm sorry.
You want to do a sync clap in the middle of the episode?
Sure.
All right.
Let's
3,
go.
2, 1.
Those were with my cheeks. You can pick which
Alright.
one.
Which cheeks?
I said you can pick.
I imagine your face cheeks like stretching way out.
You've seen my face. I have too skinny of a face for that to work.
One kind of cheek against the other.
Now
wow.
that.
Really impressive hip sway.
Oh, you have no fucking clue.
You also like get a nice crack in the back too. To
All
like
right,
double up
all
with the clap sound.
Yeah.
A clarification on modes of neurotyping. When neurotyping an object, whether that object be a person, a fictional character, or an inanimate object, you're always neurotyping it from a specific angle. The most common mode of neurotyping I've seen is how does this character think? And another common mode I've seen is what neurotype would this object appeal to? These are very different, but people often don't say which they're speaking through. I personally, taking it aside from the post here, think that this is actually very obvious, but it does bar spelling out for the people who don't get it because they're not impressionistic enough. Early on, B was neurotyping Mumkey and said something to the effect of, Mumkey's comedy is based on the idea that breaking rules is funny. This sounds like it made an impressionistic piece of media, wouldn't you say? But B went on to say, this is because Mumkey himself is lexical. He cares about those roles, and that's why he cares to break them. So Mumkey himself is lexical, but it's through his lexicality that his media meets an impressionistic style. So is Mumkey video an impressionistic one or a lexical one? It depends on whether you want to understand the way that the video is created or why people watch them. I made this post because I sometimes neurotype an object, and somebody will respond, well, I'm X-type, but I like this object, when trying to respond to type the object itself and not who enjoys that object. I think this misunderstanding is pretty common in people who haven't discussed neurotyping very often, especially people who have only seen the Reddit. By the way, I don't really watch monkeys, so my analogy is not perfect, but I think this gets the idea across. And I, as the person reading this, think that this is spot on, and we kind of approached this idea in the past when we were talking about Urcoy's neurotyping for various crimes. Like, it's the neurotype of the crime itself. It is not the neurotype that people who are that people who do that crime would be, or vice versa.
And also the last episode too, the class specs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The aspects thing is also that, where you're typing a thing, not people who fall under a certain category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also kind of just now with a socks post, because that was also by Rika, and this is a response of her to one of the people in the comments to the sock post from just now.
Exactly.
And that just re-centered
because
me on...
they were like, oh, I'm a contemplative and I would never deign to wear these socks.
Now what I want, now that brings up a question for me. Does the type of socks that you wear indicate how you feel?
No,
how you approach?
Only your jawline indicates how you feel.
Yeah, we can tie this back into the XE. We can tie this into the Neuronics thing, like which one you do.
Neurionics,
Would that be your the performance type?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like the fact that I like the white version of the bookkeeper's type socks, structurally speaking. Does that mean that like my approach to sock wearing specifically is bookkeeperish, which I would say maybe?
Or at least order.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like I like a linear ordered approach to wearing socks, which is like very simple, very straightforward. It helps me on a mental level. But like I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to socks, I'm a bookkeeper.
I like that idea right there that you just said. That was one of the things that I latched onto in neurotyping a lot in the early days, which is, do I approach this particular medium in a way of this neurotype? Like, what do I approach in a bookkeeperish way? What do I approach in a new type way? And so on. Yeah. I feel like you could make your own chart of like, here's the entire neurochart grid. And here are things in those squares that I relate to via being in this neurotype.
Yes. Yeah. It's another kind of heat mapping.
Yeah.
And it also ties into my my theories around class specting, which is that you can have a different class spec for different aspects of your like self.
Yeah, different class specs of yourself, you might say.
Yeah, like whichever aspect you are talking about, whichever themes you're talking about, symbology or symbols, etc., you will have a certain class's relationship to that thing. So same principle, where you're using a different portion of a typology depending on different things that you're relating to, which gives you more kind of a personalized and wider picture, because people don't really fall under a specific thing.
Yeah,
people are complicated that way, which has been well established. I'm not bringing anything new here, really, but yeah.
Because I think Rika kind of questions so are Mumkey's videos lexical because Mumkey is lexical, or are they impressionistic because the appeal is kind of impressionistic because the rules are broken, whereas the intention for breaking them is acknowledging them in the first place and thinking that messing with these categories would be interesting. So a lexical impulse. And I think there's something to the texture of subversive or kind of rule-breaking works of art that sort of gives you insight into where what I'm saying is that it's not a clean break. Like, even if the appeal might be mainly to impressionistic people, I don't even agree that that's necessarily the case, but I think you can glean from the art itself without looking at the artist what the impetus for the rule breaking was, because there are different textures to it. For lexical people, it really feels more like a breaking of some kind of surface. When you look at Albert Camus' The Stranger, it sort of sets out this very rigid moral and legal framework. It's all stated very matter-of-factly. It's kind of lexical. And the thing is that the main character just does not acknowledge the basic premise, does not feel in. That's a very deliberate, okay, we're placing all the steps, we're building this window plane, and then we're breaking it. It's a punching and breaking of a rigid thing. Whereas for impressionistic art that fucks with rules, it sort of feels either more like you're indenting into sort of a surface, until it rips, sort of. It's a ripping versus a breaking. Like for Finnegan's Wake, as a thing that just, it stretches the linguistic limits of what language even is very thin until it rips. There's no rule set laid out. There's no thing you actually break. Just at one thing, a hole opens. You just stretch through it and rips.
You are still here. Yeah.
All right. Do we want to cap it off with the new neurotype theory?
It's not new.
I want to...
It's bad.
It's not new, it's just bad. Are we waiting for him to reconnect?
No, just do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I told him.
Don't know if he will.
All right. I'm going to leave this here just in case, so that I don't have to address him directly when we come back. All right. So before even discussing anything actually of substance about, in quotes, new neurotyping theory, I have to say that I'm now to the point where when I see the word convergent in a neurotyping post, my instant reaction is, fuck you. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm so burned to the idea of convergent and divergent thinking as having anything to do with neurotyping in the way that it's being presented. It's a brain disease. I hate it. All right. Does somebody else want to take it away? I'm seething about convergent.
I still just want to say I'm sorry for putting this thing in the doc for today. Reading over it, I don't know what I thought was in there. It sucks. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Urcoy, you had something about this, right?
Did I? Hold on.
You had the most notes of any of us.
I started to take notes, and then they said something along the lines of musical talent being impressionism, and then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, this poster, yeah.
Oh no.
Musical talent and impressionism, fully interchangeable concepts.
No.
Okay.
And this is what is your other note
and I
here?
also said
Yeah.
yeah, it is good to point out things that the axes are not, but this is like extremely unnecessary. This is going too far. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much and not great.
I totally agree. I scroll partway down and I see lexicality / impressionism is analyticity versus globality. Fuck you. I hate this. I hate your post. End of episode.
End of episode. Hey,
man, fucking hell.
I wonder how this is gonna sound.
I am
post
interested. I feel like this
editing.
will be a bit of a patchwork abstract modern art piece with very mixed results. But I did really like the art portion. That was like my favorite.
Yeah,
I actually was
portion. I like the social
vibing
media and
with that.
engaging with people on the
Yes.
internet discussion.
Mhm.
That was a good one.
Yeah, there was a lot of really neat stuff in the second half.
They were only partially tangentially related to the posts, but they were really good discussions. I
Yeah.
really liked them.
Yeah.
I am in favor of cutting those out and making those bonus content and just re-recording to get around the bullshit of the beginning part. I don't even know if we're gonna have a real salvageable episode out of this shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Should we actually maybe set a date and re-record the first half? Do just that and then pin the rest of it to the end of it?
I might actually, maybe I will actually be able to read the post. I mean, either that or I'll not participate. But either way, maybe I'll actually have the time to read
I
through
feel
the
like
post and have a little more to add.
a lot of it was simple enough, and you had enough material to play off of us that just us
Yes.
reacting to it was good enough.
Yeah.
And so I've done that
s-
before, where I have just kind of skimmed the posts and coasted on my improv skills to get through a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody noticed if I wouldn't have called it out myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I feel, especially with the time cake post, I was like, I don't even understand what I'm looking at. Luckily, other people had enough to say
Yeah. I don't
that
know
I
if
was
there
able to just
even
kind of
much
chill
to
out and
that
wait.
one to get out of.
Well, in case this winds up being the real episode, do you want to plug anything?
I do not, as usual.
Okay. I already did my plug.
Watch the Twilight video. It's out.
Yeah,
yeah.
your Twilight video. I've
Yes.
been meaning to make time for that. I'm probably gonna watch that right
It
after
is good.
this.
It is good.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Ben Sane liked my tweet. I wonder if he's seen it. I haven't messaged him about it yet.
I came to a speaking of Ben Sane, I came to a startling realization yesterday.
Alright.
Ben is still in the Coven server.
Yeah, I'm aware. I also saw that a while ago.
I think that's really funny.
It is.